Nah.
Yeah, they talking wild, but I'm still holding ground. Mud in my veins, let the trunk shake the town. Third coast born, truth spilling out of my soul. Bump this for the real, let the rhythm take hold. A Machiavelli production. What's Gucci, my ninjas? Tuesday night, Lil Chaz fucking lit. Spitting tales from history for your benefit. Tickling freaks, dolphin wank vibes. Hugh Glass dragging ass to survive. Drama balls rampant, slender dads admired. Mad chismos ignited, punk waddles inspired. Pause that shit, they riff on fleek. Old ass tales get a dope ass tweak. If you disagree, call us for free. Unless your name is Steve on the real, that dude's starting to scare me. Yo, imp, best check your six. Steve sneaking up quick, stealing your shtick. Pause that, tap that, rip that shit quick. They keep trying to mimic it, but you should stick with bots juice in your streams, fake love and they feed. I'd rather stay slept on than bow to the greed. Tickling whispers echo in the night. Dolphins horny, slender savage cry. Machismo burns bright in the fire. Brahma bulls moves never tire. Punk waddles bars, pure insanity. Little Chaz voice spinning that tea. Pause and flex, the vibes are free. Oh, and for the girlfriend, here's your probationary inclusion.
That probationary inclusion
Yeah, that
hasn't
probation's
been necessary
over.
for a while.
That ran out quick.
That
Seems like
probation's
a
over.
revocation.
Yep.
Bubble wrap. Knuckle
Working on a
cracks.
working on a new version of that song too. Just got to
Aren't
remove
you
something at the
always?
end. Move people around. All right. Well,
Hey,
Well,
Matt,
you know-
Jane has a question.
Yes.
kind of. It's in the
If there is a snowman involved and this took place in the 80s or 90s, this is all about cocaine.
This
thought
is
this was-
definitely Coke adjacent.
This is pure snow.
I thought we were just going to Trans-Siberia.
I mean, we have derailed before I could even introduce the show.
Oh,
Us?
do your intro, Matt. Go
Oh,
ahead.
Skirt.
Don't mind us.
And it's time for episode 13 of Matapap, where we'll be talking the Falcon and the Snowman. And we are the YouTube equivalent of Braille, because when we speak, people feel
Feel.
us.
Us.
That's right. Everybody's back. Everybody have a good vacation. I gave y'all some time off last week. Hope you made good use of it.
No, I damn near had a panic attack. I thought
I did
there
see
was
that.
something seriously wrong, and I was upset, and I was
I
reaching
was,
out, and you weren't responding. And then I was like, Chad, did I piss off Matt somehow? He's not responding to me. And I don't know what I did.
That was my last day of employment. I had been looking forward to a Matapap to try to,
Oh boy.
get
Yeah,
better,
okay, this is
but-
what we're doing?
But
because I
but
could
you
have
took
left
that
and gone
away.
to Vegas a day early, but I was really, really making sure that I was here for
Okay.
your stream.
No,
That-
you weren't.
the
That
guilt
is
trip was
100%.
the
That's
guilt
bullshit.
trip was
Don't-
working
don't-
until fucking Brahma had to fuck it
Yeah.
up with that ludicrous.
we 100. Your wife is the one who dictated that schedule, so no.
My wife wasn't even originally going.
My wife.
Did she go?
Why she changed her mind?
She ended up going because she talked my daughter into babysitting her my mother-in-law so that my wife could leave.
Wouldn't that be elder sitting?
Yes, only
You
it's
can claim your
just as much
elder.
diaper changing.
You can claim them as a dependent on your taxes. You should do that.
They keep saying if we do that, then they will cut her Medicaid because then it'll show her as having some form of income that they'll cut the Medicaid after.
Welcome back to Tax Talk with Brahma and Chad, where we go over all the
Yeah.
deductibles you can do in your IRS form. I don't know. I don't pay taxes, so I don't know what any of this is called.
I really hope you do.
side effect of getting blowed up. No taxes for the rest of your life.
Yeah, bro. It was either that or I could stay in the White Horse.
What is the
That
White
was a
Horse?
reference to Armageddon. White House. Remember? They
Oh,
wrote up the
yeah.
list.
Oh
No.
yeah, and they never want to pay taxes
Yep.
again.
there's
Yep.
a cross contamination of other circles I'm in. The White Horse is something completely different.
Other what?
Oh,
that
we're
you're
talking about
in?
cocaine again.
No, other
Punkwaddle,
circles.
do you have another?
Oh,
do you have like your own internal like crew cocaine references? What's
No,
going
this
on
has to
over
do
there?
with puppet stuff, which is just as
It's puppet
absurd.
cocaine.
Puppets do cocaine.
Honestly-
I've seen Elmo
on
do
it.
cocaine.
If I'm gonna guess at who does cocaine, it's gonna be the puppet guy.
Yeah,
Snowdub?
probably.
Thank you.
His name. Hold on, his name is Snowdub. It makes so much sense now.
Well, it's
Yeah.
not like he was a rapper or anything. Then you would really have to be worried.
Mike Jones.
Oh wait,
He was.
and he was and assistant producer to Don Simpson. Oh my god!
Oh no! Assistant producer to John Simpson was just the way of crediting whoever was the cocaine mule
Yeah.
for the set.
What?
Oh, that was
Whatever.
legit.
Yeah, the cocaine mule that delivered it to the set. That was the. He got an associate.
They couldn't even use, because it was Don Simpson. They couldn't even use like a regular backpack. It had to be one of those REI, like I'm camping on the Himalayas backpack full of cocaine.
I heard that on the last Boy Scout, it was delivered by mule. They're like, why is there a mule, an actual mule with packs on the set? Half of it was coffee, though. It was from Colombia.
Oh, okay.
Colombia?
Yeah, Bam Bam.
Yep.
Mhm.
From the Medellin.
You know, yerba mate tea is really tasty too.
Well, we're done with that.
I don't
Dave.
know the
Let's
I
go
don't know
move
this
on to-
drug slang that Punk Waddle keeps dropping into your show.
I don't know either. But we're moving on to mailbag.
He's been through the desert on a horse with no name.
Wait, where's the banner at?
Unfortunately, it's probably true.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I-
mailbag. That sounds like a great. Damn it!
Oh, that wasn't me. I'm. Anyway, so we have a segment called Mailbag where we dig into the mailbag. No one ever writes emails. We get voicemails though, so that's good. But if you want to email us questions, comments, concerns, maybe your resume, you can do that at mattcheesemo@gmail.com, or you can call 726-610-5357. Mad Cheesemo. Just like Mike Jones. Anyway, that was something that was happening before the stream. Let's get to mailbag. Mailbag.
Oh, the mailbag's lit tonight. Voices from the void, out of sight. We reply to your DMs and your calls. Let's see what's up in these digital halls. No
All right, mailbag time. Let's see what we got going on tonight.
I just like that we get mailbags so that I can hear the mailbag song.
I think Windows did your audio in again.
Oh, mother.
Anyway, while we wait for him.
So I hear you guys been talking about them there truck nuts.
Oh boy.
Well, let me tell you, boy, nobody buys truck nuts anymore. They buy these nuts. For a while there, they made a run on balls in your jaws, but that fell off. It's all about these nuts now. Ladies love them. You get yourself some of these nuts.
Okay. a couple of things. I appreciate whoever that was, their dedication, because they thought about that one before they called.
They may have looked up accent training videos to try and do better.
Listen, hey, no problem with me. I spent a lot of time working on my Australian accent. If you ask
And the
Imp,
Irish one.
It shows.
yeah, Imp would come in and I'm over here reciting phrases, getting ready. But oh boy. All right, let's see. We got another one. Let's see how this one goes.
Balls in your jaws.
It's a great song.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty catchy.
You weren't around for that. You don't know the lore.
Still catchy.
Well, hey there, Mr. Mads, the Mad at Pat crew. I'm glad you guys are back on the air.
Real quick, why is it only Southern people that call us?
I
You
don't
did
know.
we
You
did
have
a
certain
stream.
appeal, man.
I was gonna say we did a stream on truck nuts. You know that's going to appeal to a certain. Remember, we went over which states sold the
Yeah.
most truck nuts.
Your YouTube channel is limited to double wides.
You're right. We've hit the
And
algorithm of the
Dooley's.
trailer park.
Yeah,
Sorry.
it's a trailer
But,
hood.
I was really intrigued because you guys were talking about the well, the little truck danglers, those the truck nuts, that was
Mhm.
very interesting because, well, I know that you've heard of the Bowls balls and the big balls and the D's nuts, but well, I just wanted to offer you a sponsorship because we're trying to start an up and coming trend, a little bit different,
This better not be a bit because we need sponsors.
but company's called D's Butts, right? So instead of those offensive little danglers that kind of getting people's, getting in a toot about. Well, I say toot about. I'm jumping the gun there.
Oh
But
boy.
we offer, instead of those, well, we know everybody's got a butt, and we could do even butt impressions. Now they can dangle or they can.
Real quick, for all the future callers, because we are going to have more, it's okay if you write it out first.
Don't be afraid.
No pressure.
Don't be afraid to put time and effort
Yeah.
into planning. It's like good YouTubers who write scripts, like Mad.
I did write a script. I did write one for my latest video I'm working on. That's a true thing. I didn't stick to it, but
I know this wouldn't be a problem for Punk, but this guy should get a notebook.
Yeah.
also you can call this number from your computer if you have a mic that's better quality.
Be more of a, just a bumper pad, for your hitch. We come on all options, sizes. They don't dangle on the ground as much, so they're not as much of a safety hazard when you're driving. But anyway, I just hope you guys think about it. Our tagline is, it's just like excuses. Everybody's got one.
What?
So, well, just let me know what you think, and I'm excited to hear about whatever you guys are talking about tonight. So, but just whether you're interested or not, just remember that. Well, you can always get some of these butts for your hitch in your truck and your, your bumper.
Mad.
cars.
Hold on, it's almost done.
I'll be seeing you.
Are you sure?
Okay, I
Mad.
just wanted to make sure I didn't miss where he gave us his contact info so that we could actually hit him back like he asked about the sponsorship.
Do you
I
think?
mean, we
that-
really do need sponsors.
I just need to ask Mad. Do you think the caller hangs out with someone who sells propane and propane accessories?
Okay, well, mailbag happened again this week.
Mailbag was a thing that happened.
Yep,
This is true.
If you want to participate with these weirdos that did tonight, by the way, a little word, haven't heard from Steve in a few weeks. Imp, lock your doors.
Don't. Yeah, we're fine. I'm glad we're not.
I think Steve went to Las Vegas and was just staring at Brahma at the meetup.
Well, it was the
Just
smoker
staring.
jacket. How could he not?
It was the smoking jacket. Steve was just eyes locked on.
Brahma
on
doesn't
the-
realize that his entire time in Vegas, he was mere moments from death.
Well, we'll have to catch him up on all of what we just said when he gets back from his door. Anyway, if you would like to let us know what you think or complaints, I'm sure you have plenty. You can email us at mattcheesemo@gmail.com.
Steve came back from Las Vegas, followed him home, and waited till the stream started to knock on
that
Brahma's
happened?
door.
Oh, he's dealing with Steve right now.
Oh, I
Well,
wish
that's
Brahma
nice.
would hear this and be like, you know what? I'm going to come back and do a Steve voice, like it playing the bit. I know he's not going to, but it would be great if he did. Anyway, or you can call us at 726-610-5357, which stands for, what did I say? What was it?
It was the most random assortment of letters
No, it
I'd
wasn't.
ever seen.
Yeah.
Oh, yep. Pano-tinlets. That's right. Pano-tinlets. 726.
Well, if that's not
610.
random, what does it mean, Mad?
Pano-tinlets?
Yeah.
It means moving on to the story tonight. Anyway, that's it. We missed anything? Hey, Eric, Josh, these nuts, no cap. That's right. What can I call? What can I call you?
You can
Daddy?
call me Susan if it makes you happy.
We went two different routes.
Just don't call me Shirley.
All right. Well, so tonight we'll be talking about the Falcon and the Snowman, which was made into a movie starring Sean Penn and somebody else. I never saw it. It was like in the 80s.
Timothy Hutton.
Just keep
wait.
watching my volume magically go down all on its own.
Is that the guy from Dune?
No, that was Kyle MacLachlan.
No, in Dune.
Timothy Hutton was. I'm gonna give you something that actually is a reference you'll get.
Okay, I
He
can't
was.
wait to see
He's
this.
in. Have you ever watched Leverage,
No,
the TV show on TNT?
nuh-uh. TNT still has shows.
Yeah.
Is TNT still around?
It's dynamite.
Let's just go on to the story.
All right.
All right.
I hope you're comfortable in that last spot. Well, nope. Okay.
Earned it.
Oh, did you? Actually, you know what? To be fair,
Oh.
and they know why they were moved up to the top.
I don't have any worries. I know Punk Waddle will
I'll
be
have
where
it
he's
yeah.
supposed to be soon.
Just screenshot this for proof. Okay.
All right. So we started
Photoshop the thing.
February 16th, 1953. Christopher John Boyce was born in Santa Monica,
Wait,
California.
real quick, can you start over? I missed. I was like, Imka spoke, and it totally captivated me because it doesn't.
It's glorious. I can't look away. Im's words. All right. February 16th, 1953. Christopher John Boyce was born in Santa Monica, California.
Nice.
He was one of 9 children.
Oh boy.
Growing up in Palo Verde, an affluent coastal town near Los Angeles. When he was young, Chris developed a black and white moral code combining his mother's devout Catholicism and his father's strict conservatism.
It's such a great start when you combined the strict Catholicism with, they kind of go hand in hand. But that's a great opener for.
I mean, I'm liking
hating
it so
him.
far. This guy sounds like my kind of people.
Yeah,
Sure,
but
he's about to fuck it up.
Yeah,
Sounds like
because
me.
much like a Catholic schoolgirl, he does not survive contact with the real world in California.
Oof.
Because as he started going to public schools, classmates joked that he would be the first American pope. A
What
teacher at
dumb
one of his
joke. Like, who teases? You're going to be very successful. You're going to rise to the highest possible levels of your religion.
You're going to get to ride around in a bulletproof vehicle and have a whole bunch of people wait on you hand and foot
Right.
at all times.
I don't think they had that back then, but yeah, that's cool.
Wait, what didn't they have?
The
Servants?
the Pope Mobile wasn't around till after Pope John Paul II had an assassination attempt against him in the early 1980s.
They couldn't ride Pope yet.
No, there was no bulletproof Pope cart.
But they did have all their treasure.
Are you gonna go
Matt, I think you're missing the point that this was a joke, and maybe you
Yeah.
shouldn't have thought about it so hard.
I honestly
this
didn't know it was going to be that big of a derailment. We got a long way to go.
This is
Yeah,
why I'm the one who
actually-
collects the stories, because I can't deal in hypotheticals.
Yeah. Oh, look at me. I'm Chad. I like facts and reality. Whatever.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
perfect for
reality
this show.
check. Nice. Bro.
Yeah, we experienced Chad and his idea of reality last night, didn't we, Matt? Oh, look,
The
it's a
civilians,
Let's shoot him in the
they-
head.
They were clearly in on it.
Chad's rampant disregard for civilian life when playing Ghost Recon is disturbing.
Oh, did you guys play Ghost Recon?
Yeah,
I deleted that the other day because
we did.
Like,
we
never
all
play that
had to
anymore.
reinstall. We all had to reinstall it.
No,
No,
just
I was
you.
good.
Okay, I had to reinstall it. Fuck. Man, you
All
can,
right.
yes, and me sometimes, guys. Come on.
Well, yes, and those civilians deserved it. They were knowingly working with terrorist organizations. Just saying. So one of his teachers said, "I have never known a boy with such idealism." The teacher turned out to be very wrong.
Oh, so she did. She met somebody that was even more idealistic.
No, it turns out that Chris's idealism didn't last. Because in 1967, at 14 years old, he became friends with a 21-year-old man who had waist-length hair, drove a VW van, and owned a Falcon named Muhammad.
The hippies
There's-
got to him.
There's so
Yes.
much to
The
unpack there.
hippies always get to them.
Slender may have. Did you even miss his Falcon?
Yeah, I didn't.
Muhammad.
I didn't miss that.
That's part of the hippieism.
You know,
What are hippies known to be falconeers?
Falconers. Yeah.
Falconeers.
To be at
whatever.
one with nature, sure.
I don't know because a falcon like aggressively murders other animals. So
Yeah.
that's not like a very peace love kind
Well,
of thing. But
Well,
mean,
so did Manson's hippies.
Yeah, maybe it was a militant
Oh.
wing of the hippies.
You think he tried to make it a vegetarian falcon, like what they do with cats?
Wouldn't
That's the
frickin'
thing with,
surprise me.
in nature, though, the animals will just tell you to fuck off.
well,
All right,
maybe
so
he couldn't fend for himself.
Yeah, so
like that.
because Chris loved birds and was super into
wait,
falconry.
real quick. I guess what? All right, just to recap, he's 14.
Mhm.
His new friend is 21, owns a van, long hair, and has a falcon named Muhammad. That's where we're at.
Correct.
And his van was called the Mystery Machine, and him and the Falcon smoked up in the back.
Oh no, we're out of falcon treats. How are we gonna solve this mystery?
Come on.
Yeah, cacao, it was the old man, cacao.
It was the one
Muhammad snacks.
Oh, no.
Fun fact. You know, whenever you hear the eagle like screech, the eagle sounds in videos and stuff, that's not an eagle, that's a falcon, because eagles they make dumb noises and they're embarrassing. So they replace it with a falcon.
Hold on a second.
Sound.
Mad, are you telling me that my favorite tea brand, Red Gun Tea, used a falcon sound and not an eagle sound when it was trying to sell me patriotic tea?
Listen. That was
Boycott. Fucking
Well, hold on.
boycott.
It
We're
was-
done.
it was one of the requirements when you deal with the Biden-Harris campaign at that time. That you had to have a falcon sound, not eagle sound.
This
It was in
bird DEI
the-
shit has to go, Mad. You need to fix it.
All these fuckers, they replaced it with one of those falcons. You know, they're only 13% of the bird population, but they're responsible for 60% of the murder.
Oh man. At least you didn't come up
What
with
color were the
this-
Falcons, man?
At least Matt didn't go. There was a story I just saw about a falcon stabbed an eagle. Just did it out of the blue.
Oh, no, we're not going there. Let's get back to the story.
It was in the wrong nest.
I saw that Babylon Bee. It's a good joke. Yeah.
All
But
right,
probably
so while hanging out and enjoying the falcon named Muhammad and learning about falconry, the two friends
Falcon's
also
name
smoked.
really Muhammad?
Yeah, the
Yes.
falcon was, yeah.
Oh, is this,
They brought
year was
they
this
brought
conducted?
Muhammad to the mountain. So it was fun.
What
So
year
they
were you-
also. Oh yeah, so this
Jihadi
is
snacks?
1967.
Did you do it for a jihadi snack?
Okay, so like, Rami Youssef, T for the Tillerman, all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, the bird was trained to respond to Alu Akbar. It was
No, is that real?
no, I completely made that up. Yes,
Okay.
Mad was like, "Oh shit!"
That would be so awesome.
All right, so as friends do in 1967, in addition to falconry, they also smoked a lot of weed together,
Oh, shocker.
and this helped Chris learn a whole new outlook on life and come to different conclusions. Like the Vatican being just another selfish political power center wrapped in jewels, hypocrisy, and ritual.
And then he read this article and he's like, dude, they're trying to get people to talk to dolphins. I talk to this falcon all the time after I have some of these jihadi snacks.
You know, yeah, man, people just don't understand that that sound comes from a falcon, not an eagle, man. This country's bullshit. It all starts at the foundation of it, man.
It's a government conspiracy, man.
Muhammad is puff puff pass.
So, also at the time, Vietnam was going on. So Chris, watching the perceived atrocities in Vietnam, caused Chris to reject nationalism as a fundamental evil of mankind.
I'm what? Of mankind.
And he's lost me. I don't like
Yeah.
this guy already.
Well, that's
Yeah,
why
I
I
did
said that
Democrat.
teach. that teacher completely was wrong about Mr. Idealism.
In his defense, he's 14. Let's see if he grows out of it.
Well, a couple
he was-
years after, a couple
I'm
years into
guessing
his,
since you have a whole story about him that we're going to go over tonight, he grows into it, not out of it.
so
Seems
yeah.
like a very impressionable youth.
So yeah, well, within a couple years, his new friend burned to death when the hash oil he was working with caught fire.
Oh, it
So-
wasn't when a local tribe stuck him full of freaking pine needles and lit him up?
Do
And then he was like, oh, sorry, man.
Do you think Muhammad did it?
you think Chris did it to take possession of Muhammad? I don't know. That's possible.
Oh,
He really
If only
loved
they
that
had
bird.
their vermilion.
If Muhammad did it, he'd have gone up in flames with him.
Well, I mean, it does make sense that the van exploded with Muhammad in it.
So this caused Chris to search for new friends.
Oh no!
And that's when Chris met Dalton Lee. Dalton was a whopping 5'2" with
Nice.
severe acne that lasted into adulthood.
Like, real quick, I don't know if you guys have ever met a man that's 5'2", but they're very reasonable. They don't have attitude problems. They're never trying to prove anything at bars. They're very, low key people.
Joe Pesci, salt of the earth.
Yeah, yeah.
Tom Cruise jumping up and down on a couch.
I think Tom Cruise is more like 5.
He's like 5'6". Yeah.
Same
Yeah.
mentality.
They all look short to me.
Fuck
yeah,
you,
for
brother.
real.
Those of us at that height level are not all.
So like the
All right.
equivalent of a chihuahua.
It is sometimes, yeah.
Kinda.
Yeah, I mean they're not quite LPs. I think you have to be under 5 foot to be an LP.
I
right?
always use the Danny DeVito measurement. If you're shorter than Danny DeVito, you're officially an LP.
You know, as a penguin, I'm an LP. As a person, I'm an E EP.
What is an EP?
Extended play.
Extended
Yeah,
play.
like music, like records. Come on.
The more we explain it, the funnier it gets.
Yep. I agree with that choice.
The explanation cost him another spot. I feel bad because Chad asked it.
I'll rise again.
Punk Waddle is like the South post-Civil War, always forever believing the movement of
Penguin
Mad's
shall
aggression.
rise again.
By the end of it, he was like, no, man, we weren't trying to explain shit. We were wanting state rights. Had nothing to do with explanations.
Punk Waddle's like, no, my organization of puppet friends is merely social. We do not interfere with anybody.
Have we burnt a Q-tip on someone's yard? Yes. But
But that
I
was a
see
threat
you
to
doing
puppets,
motion.
'cause it's
No, he's like, I see you doing motion capture, you jerk. We're coming for you. You're taking puppet jobs.
whoa.
All right. So
They still
So
want
back-
to working on a car.
So back to our introduction to Dalton Lee. He was he was 5'2", severe acne into adulthood. He was smart but didn't like school. He has an adopted father who was a doctor and war hero, and
boy.
he was
So-
obsessed with animals.
So I'm picturing the tech guy from Grand Theft Auto 5.
1.5.
Actually, he's more like the dude. Yeah, if you're thinking of Dalton would be more like the meth head guy living out in the
So
in the
Really?
desert.
back in the late 60s, you were able to adopt dads. It wasn't the other way around.
He had his adoptive father, as in
Yeah,
his father.
The
who
father he
him.
adopted.
No, he was adopted by this man.
I too
Adoptive,
was
not
adopted.
Ed.
Yeah, but I always referred to myself as an adoptee, not the adopter.
Mm.
Yeah, but we're talking about adoptive.
Yeah, it's the IV versus the ED.
Yeah, he didn't say he got along with his adopted father. He said it's
ED from-
adoptive.
I said I will rise again. I don't have ED.
Speaking of ED, this episode brought to you by Blue Chew. Blue Chew, get spot higher on the. Go on. We're not really
All right.
sponsored by them.
So
We're sponsored by by butt. What is it? Truck butts?
I don't know. I've never
D's
heard of that
butts.
before.
It was D's butts.
Yeah, it was D's butts.
They're hoping they've got their fingers crossed they can sign J-Lo as a spokesperson. It'll turn their whole product line around.
That butt's expensive.
That's an old reference. You could have went like Kim Kardashian.
Sure.
I don't
That's
know.
also
They
an
could-
old reference.
Yeah,
That feels old too. Yeah,
yeah. I guess butts are out. Yeah.
not in Brazil.
They could
Who's
be.
Diddy into nowadays?
I don't know. I think it's more likely who's
Snowman?
in Diddy.
All right. So Dalton owned armadillos, piranhas, and predatory birds, including falcons.
Oh,
He
man,
also
he's-
liked to use and sell cocaine.
Okay, before we get to the cocaine, I know everybody's been waiting on it.
I knew it.
Armadillos have leprosy.
Have
What?
or carry?
They carry, yeah,
They
Oh,
carry.
is that-
Okay,
Yeah. and
they do. They're known to.
yeah.
is that why their tails break off?
I haven't spent much time around.
That's why you have
Armadillos.
to really disinfect them before you use them as a soup bowl.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, dip bowl, Yeah. Haven't you seen that, in Texas? You go
No.
to the antique store and they've got like the hollowed out armadillo shells.
No, it feels more like West Texas. I don't spend a lot of time over there. It's gross.
Dude, what
it
happens
is-
if you get a leprosy soup bowl?
Then you get fucking leprosy,
Leprosy.
man.
Yeah, leprosy.
Is there a treatment for that?
I don't know if it's actually a soup bowl. It's more like a dish, but yeah.
You go to a colony with friends, and
Yeah.
then
They can't.
I
Kill
mean, I
that
know
now,
that's how
right?
they used to handle it. Is that like
yeah,
still,
you hang
like-
out with the coolest people until. Well, never mind.
I do like the
don't-
decor from Texas of the armadillo laying on its back with its hands extended that you put a bottle of bourbon or wine in, and
See,
it looks like it's drinking it.
So leprosy, can we cure that now?
That's what I'm curious
Don't think
about.
so.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I don't think. Yeah, I think it's still. I think we just reduced its. How often it happened
Prevalence?
by
Yeah.
by washing our hands
Well, as a Texan,
and
I think
washing
we-
out armadillos properly.
I got to be honest. I think we need to stop giving a fuck about Jerry kids. We need to work on this leprosy thing. Where's the cure for that?
I mean, until we do work on that, I think you better get something a little bigger than a salt gun if you got armadillos in the
Right?
area.
Well, I'm not in West Texas. That feels like a West Texas thing.
oh, they root around all over Texas. I've seen them east, west.
Yeah, rootin' and tootin'.
I've hit quite a few of them with my car.
What? Why?
Wow,
Because
you
they
are
wander into the highway in the middle of the night
Roman's
while you're
like
driving,
bonus points.
in
Armadillos.
Oh yeah, I've hit a few.
and they curl up and go rolling.
And you wonder why your tires are always going flat. It's because your tires got leprosy. We can move on.
All right, so back to the cocaine usage.
Oh yes.
How can I
Listen.
forget
Okay,
that?
hold on. I'm gonna let it slide because it was deserving. But you, if it's your stream, move us all around. I don't give a shit.
Okay.
No. It was deserving. I'll do it.
Mad's like, on reflection, I did deserve this. All right, so so Dalton's use of cocaine. So Dalton, you didn't just use it; he liked to sell it, and he would also give girls cocaine for free until they were hooked, and then demand sex from them if they wanted more.
These all
cooler
seem
and
like
cooler.
pretty common uses of cocaine.
Oh man, he's 5'2" with acne, armadillo, and a falcon. You
And
gotta fuck
cocaine.
him. You gotta
And
fuck him for an
cocaine.
8-ball.
And you know
Ugh.
what? They did. The hippie girls in California. That's what they did. So when Dalton graduated from high school, he was making hundreds of dollars a week and became a full-time drug dealer. Because why go to school when you've got that kind of income and bright future ahead of you?
True.
Why buy the cow when you can get the milk for free?
So at this point, Chris had just started his senior year, and every month the two would make a point to go out into the desert, smoke weed, and fly falcons.
Yeah, man. I
That's
used to know this one falcon named Muhammad. He was cool as shit until he jihaded himself.
So Chris
Something
was a
about
top.
a snack bar and then a fireball.
Admiral Akbar.
I don't know whose was worse right there.
They were both really bad. I think they will.
I stayed out of it.
I was gonna move him anyways, but I couldn't. But so
All
I
right,
had to move him to move him.
So Chris was a top student, but only graduated in the bottom third of his class because falconry and weed.
Listen, I get that. I too graduated near the bottom. Was there a couple of kids in the special needs class that graduated? Sure.
Were you really into falconry back then?
Yeah,
man?
I was gonna ask, were you into falconry?
Oh, dude, I was into wait, new
Matt,
channel.
Can
Okay.
you tell me,
Grew up in
is
a
it weird?
weed neighborhood.
No, when you're into falconry and you have to buy just that one glove, is it weird when you order just one at a time, or is that like just how it is?
You know what? They don't even come in pairs, and you have to special order them depending on the type of falcon.
Nice.
I
And
think.
God help you if you're right-handed or left-handed.
Matt,
Oh,
do you
yeah,
have to
yeah.
custom make those little eye masks that fit over the falcon's eyes so that they're not looking?
No, what I did, I took the one that you would use in a sunbed, tanning bed, right? And then I guess put that on the falcon.
Just
Weird
a
though, he
strap
would
on
always
it.
get like lost and run into he would fly into shit. Like, what are you doing, you dummy?
Take off the glasses before he flew.
You know, I can see the I can see the problem with my
Well, you know what they say, Matt. Hindsight is 20/20.
right. Yeah, reflecting back on it now, it makes sense why I graduated so low in my class.
Maybe the teachers were right. So Chris decided to just go to junior college and then transferred to Loyola University, which was a Jesuit school in 1973.
A Jesuit school?
Boy.
But because of his newfound agnosticism, he dropped out.
Why did he go in the first place? He's been agnostic.
So that fall, he enrolled in Cal Poly at San Luis.
Is that a
Obispo.
Mormon? Is that a Mormon school?
No, that's just a state college in California.
This
Oh.
dude just keeps getting worse.
But do you want to know why he enrolled there? Because it was right next to a falcon sanctuary.
Oh,
And he decided that he should look into doing a career traveling the world as an avian expert.
God damn,
Priorities.
he's so high. Like
But
that's one of those things you come up with. You're like, man, you know what I want to do as a living? Travel the world, man. Just looking at falcons and shit. Like,
Oh,
South
you were
Africa.
talking about him. I thought you were impersonating him talking about the Falcons.
yeah.
What?
I want to be high as a
You said-
bird.
Because you said, God, he's so high.
Yeah. Oh, what? No. Sorry.
High above me.
She's so lovely. She's so high.
Unexpected.
Slender's beautiful voice moved him up.
You
one
really
spot.
just win over Matt by singing songs.
I love the dedication. Show me you're dedicated. Show me you're 100% into whatever we're doing.
Look, the execution may be somewhat lacking, but the heart, man, you got miles and miles of heart.
I wish I had a whole team of people that dedicated. Are we going?
All right, so he even though he had these grand designs on becoming a world traveling avian expert, he dropped out of Cal Poly after 1 year
Why?
because he could, I don't know, smoking weed.
Smoke too much pot.
I mean,
But luckily
technically, didn't
his-
he just need to go next door to learn about the Falcons? Why go to
But-
college?
Yeah, so luckily his dad had worked at the FBI before becoming a security expert for airplane manufacturer McDonnell Douglas. So he got Chris a job at TRW, a defense contractor in Redondo Beach.
Nepotism
Oh.
at this finest.
Yep. Now his job at TRW was janitor. He just swept floors.
Okay,
and
thank
pushed
God.
papers.
Because imagine, be
I'm
like,
Matt Damon.
imagine, like, you're like, how did this pothead falconer get this job with only a high school education?
Well, lucky you asked that, Matt, because soon into working there, he got a background security investigation done and passed it, and the Defense Department granted him a top secret security clearance.
As a
Fuck's
janitor.
sake.
And that's when he was brought into a mysterious room at TRW called the Black Vault.
As
Chris
what,
was
to
then-
clean it?
No, Chris was then informed that TRW's actual job was to build secret intelligence satellites for the CIA, and those satellites would beam data to a station at Pine Gap in Australia. In exchange for using the facility in Australia, the U.S. would share all information gathered
Oi,
from
I bet
these
you thought
satellites
that we were out of this this stream. We're back, baby.
with the
Rockets.
Australian with the Australian intelligence services. Chris's job was to decrypt the information from Pine Gap and then send it to the CIA.
Real quick, this company that works for the CIA and shit, they're like, this janitor,
Yeah.
say what you will, but I think he got something. Let's see what he can do. Like,
Yeah.
my God, I know the whole, it's all bullshit, the white, straight white male privilege or whatever, but this really,
Hey, Mads, you like falcons? How about them falcons?
So like I was saying, what it's things like that perpetuates the idea of straight white male privilege. Like
Okay,
this,
things like that. When did that happen, Matt?
This would have been 1973.
man, it was so-
1973. You think that shit's still that way now?
no, that's what I'm saying. God, that was such a great time to be white and straight male.
Hold on.
We missed out.
Clearly, Matt, this is because if you remember your 1980s hip hop history, the CIA was responsible for the crack cocaine epidemic in the United States. So they were recruiting him to get to Dalton
Oh,
to
is
get
that
to
what-
all the cocaine.
Whoa,
to get
spoilers!
into the US. No, that was just pure speculation. But while Chris was doing this, Dalton did become a huge heroin dealer.
Why? Why? How? He moved on to heroin.
He just keeps stepping it up.
Because he had been arrested and went to jail, but while in jail, he made connections with the Mexican mafia. I guess at that point they weren't a cartel. When
No,
he-
they weren't. That didn't
Did he
happen
handle
until.
them? Did he handle them the same way he handled his other customers? Like, hey, if I give you any more of this coke, you gotta let me fuck you.
Hey, Pon,
No, I
so-
mean they were the ones supplying him with it, so I guess prison. He had to do. Never mind.
real on the cartel thing, because I actually do know this. No, the first cartel didn't start until probably the late '80s. I guess watched the first season of the Narcos in Mexico, so I actually do know they weren't a cartel yet.
Nice. So when he got out, Dalton became a middleman, getting heroin from the Mexican mafia and then selling it to Americans and American drug dealers.
Okay, cool. So he's
So- he's in import export.
Sales and distribution.
Yep.
Yeah. So he would make drug runs to Mexico, get the drugs, then sell them to the dealers, and then turn around and throw massive parties in Palo Verdes with mounds of cocaine.
Oh boy.
By the end of 1974, unfortunately, Dalton had also become addicted to his own product.
It's 5 man. Wait, which one? The cocaine or the
Heroin.
Well,
heroin?
he was already
Heroin.
addicted to the cocaine, so it's
The
got to be the
girls?
heroin.
They say never get high on your own supply.
No, it's easy, man. You just got to balance it out. You do some heroin, then snort some cocaine, man. Gives you that nice balance.
I was gonna say,
Upper followed by a downer, followed by an upper.
I'm just gonna have
And you smoke some pot to relax at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I could understand the guy doing the decrypting, being high all the time and help him focus, like before we had Ritalin sort of thing. But
Hold on a second.
Hold on. Yeah.
Weed is not a drug.
no, I was talking about if he was on harder stuff.
No, he wasn't. This is the other guy. This is his buddy, his 5'2".
Yeah.
Oh well, no, I guess because he would just go and do weed with
Yeah.
with
He doesn't
Dalton.
have a lot of
It would make
friends.
sense to me. The guy who was doing all of decoding and hyper focus to be on the harder stuff. That's all I'm saying.
Have
I
you
mean,
ever done cocaine?
Cocaine is the working man's drug.
See,
It did fuel Hollywood throughout the 80s.
yeah,
so,
in the
uh,
70s now.
Yeah, and if you're trying to do decryption, man, and you're looking at this wall of numbers, then you snort some coke, and suddenly you're like, I see the pattern. There
Yeah, I
it
see
is.
the pattern. God, I'm so hard right now. So that's what I hear.
Yeah.
I believe at the time, actually, Slender. I don't know if you can confirm this, but my understanding is in the 60s and
I ain't
70s,
confirming shit.
the Navy gave out amphetamines to
Oh,
people
across the
working.
military.
Yeah, all over the military, especially to like third shift. So-
Yeah, I'll be honest. I'm a little
And
disappointed they
pilots.
stopped doing it.
So when do we get the amphetamines? We stopped doing that in the 80s. Son of a
Fuck.
bitch.
Like, God, they're always talking about, oh, don't let that Z monster get you. Bitch, give me some Adderall. Let me fight back.
Matt is over here is like, first you don't give me the damn t-shirt, then you tell me that the amphetamines got cut off 30
Now I'm
years
in
ago.
trouble because I fell
All
asleep.
you offer me now is the worst cup of coffee I've ever had. Thanks, assholes.
Oh,
And
but
a
I got
t-shirt.
rippets, I guess. Rip it.
I mean, yet another real life story. Have you ever heard a story about a drug dealer in the 70s where they didn't end up addicted to their own supply? Like this Goodfellas with the Italian mom. He's got, I mean, it seems like a pretty common problem in that era. I don't know if we've moved on from that.
Yeah,
Maybe
I
the
feel like even
cartels have
today,
the system to do that.
I guess it
think-
depends on like what level you're at. Obviously, if you're not addicted to your heroin that you sell, you're going to be able to rise in your whatever organization you're a part of easier.
Yeah, the competition's kind of high.
So like when the cartels are doing annual performance reviews, like who can we move
Yeah,
up
bro.
to our entry level supervisor roles? Well, how about Juan? He's the only one who wasn't doing the cocaine.
He-
Well, that
he-
immediately makes him.
Yeah, he
You
met
know-
his quota.
You know, based on the Six Sigma model, we've had a lot better results with Juan. I'd say we rank him as a rising star.
I think part of
Oh
the
shit!
problem
We
is
just
our.
found Juan coked out in the closet. Yes,
I think
man.
part of the problem is our company motto of always be snorting.
All right. Well, we're bumping him back down to individual contributor. Then he's not a rising star.
Get it?
anymore.
Always be snorting. Always be.
Always
selling.
be snorting like
Yeah,
cocaine.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
I
instead of
thought we were
selling.
talking about heroin at this point. Always be shooting.
You can snort heroin. Pulp Fiction. Anyone?
Can you though?
Yeah, that's right. That's how she ended up
Yeah.
going
Yeah, I didn't
into
say it's good
cardiac
for you.
arrest.
I thought it got
And it
injected.
burns.
No, it's supposed to be injected, but she
Yeah, I was
snorted
gonna
it,
say.
and that's why she like died.
Takes one to know one. So
What do you mean?
Oh.
How dare you, sir? Six Sigma was all the rage back in the early 2000s.
It is no, it's still popular and
for
Is it still really?
I
Ugh.
thought it was it takes if you know Juan, you know Jamal.
so for those that
Can
may
you-
not know,
Is there a lower spot you can move him to?
Yes, chat.
I just for those in the chat that may be or listening that doesn't know what a what was it Six Sigma is, you want to explain? what
Lean
that is?
Six Sigma.
Okay.
It's a management
It's
framework
Yeah,
for large
obviously.
corporations.
it's a process improvement. Like it's designed to root out inefficiencies within any large organization. So on the theory that in a large organization, if you even make one small process improvement over the entire organization, that's going to be millions of dollars in
Man.
results.
So once they stopped doing it, that's how all the women got in to these because they were no longer rooted out.
No, it actually started taking hold once the women got into the companies. It was
Oh, okay.
The corporate butterfly.
yeah.
It doesn't matter like in what way that it's their fault. It's their fault.
It's always their fault.
It's like, all right, so now
Sorry,
we're
I
new
mean,
channel.
wait, it's a new channel.
Yeah, new
New channel.
Both had to realize new channel.
Keep going with your old bits, man.
Yeah.
I forgot.
Man,
I
we
love
don't-
women.
this channel is mad misogyny free. Remember?
Yep. I love women.
Yeah, we're mad scotching.
I mean-
now.
I
I'm
mean,
not
it would
gay
be
no
ter-
more.
It would be terrible if a viewer from your old channel left a voicemail about how unhappy they were with the lack of misogyny.
What is
But-
Windows doing with your audio?
Yeah, did Chad's mic just kick in right in the middle
I
of that
think
sentence?
so.
Chat,
I've
Chat is
noticed
probably doing the exact same thing I'm
it
doing.
dropped down to
Watching
20,
it go
yeah.
down and then pulling it back up and watching
Exactly.
it go back down again.
yeah, so it was down to 20. It's
Right.
moving
Yeah. You
down
do
to
heroin,
59.
then you got to do cocaine to bring you back up.
So yeah, I'm doing like Slender said.
Where
I'm
do I
watching
put the
mic.
cocaine in the computer, though?
I believe that would be the USB 3 port.
Oh.
Do you
All
have
right,
some?
we
of
gotta
those?
get going on this story. We're
All
gonna
right.
lose a couple people.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So
We
now
just
we're
got a bunch of people in chat.
No, I
showed
meant
up about
on the
5 minutes
panel.
ago.
yeah.
I've been on
Oh,
the panel.
Yeah, so by 1975, Chris learned, as he's decrypting, that the CIA was actually using the secret satellites to spy on China, the Soviet Union, France, and Israel, who are
Based.
allies, as well as Australia. The CIA
Based.
was violating its own contract with Australia by hiding this information from them.
Yeah,
Oh,
why
what the
would we
fuck
tell them?
ever?
Why
Keep
would
your
we
friends
tell them?
close and your enemies closer?
Again, the deal was that we were transmitting the information to an Australian station in Australia. And in exchange for that, we agreed that they would get access to all the intelligence as well.
Listen, Australia wouldn't be in near the amount of like trouble they're in now if we would have kept doing this.
The entire Five Eyes setup is a problem, but whatever. So, Chris would later state, I watched my government deceive an ally who had fought next to us in 2 world wars without giving it the deliberation it deserved. I decided to do as much damage to the American intelligence community as I possibly could.
Okay,
I mean,
pause.
Yeah.
I mean, has anybody else noticed that everyone who fought beside us in the wars of the past hates us nowadays? Like, maybe we should still be spying on them.
I agree. I got to the same ending. I don't know about the process Slender took to get there, but yeah, fuck them. I said we spy on all of them. I'm just saying.
Fuck the British.
Also, does that seem like equal? Like, I feel like he's overdoing it with his punishment.
Are you saying he's overcorrecting by trying to
Yeah.
go full Snowden with it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe. But luckily, later that January, while doing cocaine with Dalton.
Oh, boy.
Oh my God, no!
No, man, I'm just saying, man.
I knew
Yeah,
it.
look, man, this is the problem with the country, man. This is what we got to do, right? Okay, this is what we're gonna do. This is what we're gonna do, right?
He
We're gonna
decided
tell the
to-
Australians.
Yep. He decided to tell Dalton all about the Black Vault and
Oh,
what
boy.
the CIA was doing.
You don't
You know,
get it,
that's.
man.
Can I just also point out that he was friends with Dalton, a drug dealer,
We're gonna start a
When the-
revolution, man.
when the background check was done to give him the job to be the decryptor.
Oh, in his defense, he did not list him as a reference.
The background check isn't supposed to worry about who you list as a reference. They're supposed to look into everything.
Yeah, but you know, you never give your dealer's number out, so the
Yeah.
phone chain never got to it.
By the way, also, how did he survive the background check when they went back and was like, your only friend while you're in high school before Dalton, the drug dealer, was an older hippie dude with a falcon named Muhammad who died in a mysterious
Well,
half
apparently
oil
they
fire.
talked to his teacher, and she was just like, "He's the most moral young man I've ever met." She was good enough for us.
I'm going to explain all this, how this happened. They moved the janitor with a high school education into the top secret part of their company. Clearly, they have some deficiencies when it comes to how they operate.
You think maybe this was like how it happens in the movies, where he was just like mopping, mopping all day long, taking off spray paint with turpentine and everything, and he just accidentally went into one of the top secret areas, and then they were like, "Well, now you got to work here, motherfucker."
We
Well,
saw your
I think-
equation on the wall.
I thought you were going to say that he
hunting
came
this
across.
punk waddle.
I thought you were gonna, like, and then he's mopping at night, and he came across this chalkboard that had a.
No, I wasn't
Punk
going
Waddle's
Goodwill
bad
hunting on
Goodwill
this.
hunting joke.
I'm just gonna keep going with it, you know.
Anyway,
I didn't hear
No.
it, but I appreciate the attempt.
what really happened is that they were a government contractor, and they only get to bill based on the number of people they have in the position. And they're like, "Fuck, we're down a guy, so that's impacting our billing." Oh, his dad was an FBI guy. He can pass a background check. Yeah, put Chris in there. The janitor? Yeah, just fuck it. We're gonna bill time.
I don't know, man. There's something.
Do it.
There's something about this this Muhammad character that committed a bird hottie. He bird hot him. self.
Dude, why is he always drawing pictures of falcons with D's butts on them?
Why did he teach his parrot to say Alu Akbar?
What? Honestly, I don't even think falcons have penises, but all of his drawings, they all have dicks and hearts just drawn around them.
It's actually quite disturbing.
I think he's fucking his falcon.
Quote the raven. D's nuts!
Quote the Raven's nuts.
quote the falcon. No. All right, so this is after doing the cocaine with Dalton. Dalton came up with and pitched a plan to Chris a week later. Chris could steal classified documents, and Dalton could go to the Soviet embassy in a third country and offer to sell them to the Soviets.
Dude, take him out.
That is
Take him out.
definitely
You have the green light.
That's definitely a coked up plan. That's a plan you only come up with when you're high as fuck on cocaine. You're like, no, man, this is what we're gonna do, man. See, I'm gonna take the documents, man, right? I'm gonna give them to you, okay? Because you know people. Yeah. So you know people.
Well, luckily, Chris had been told by a fellow employee the Soviets would pay up to $20,000 for.
How would he know that?
That's
a good idea, man. It's gonna work.
Yeah, no, what me? No, I've never sold anything to them, but what I hear, you know.
So falcons are like pigeons, right, man? I can tie a message around its foot and just send it to Russia.
So in March of that year, Dalton sold cocaine to an undercover cop and was arrested.
Why?
Why?
Of all the questions to ask of everything that's happened, that's the part. That's the thing.
Why to
that doesn't
what?
make
Why
sense.
was he selling coke? Why did
Hey,
he
Matt,
get
as a
arrested?
former police officer, why don't you explain to us why he got arrested?
I mean, honestly, I don't know. Like, I guess they just weren't cool.
I keep wanting to sing cocaine, but I keep getting Layla stuck in my head, and I don't know why.
Wait, are you talking about that cocaine?
Are you thinking of it because of Goodfellas when they were going the drug binge like montage as he's being about to be arrested by the FBI as Layla played?
Maybe, or maybe I just have one of those personal crossovers because of
because you snorted cocaine while listening to Layla?
No, I just had friends who covered oldie songs and people I knew at a certain time. And
I'm gonna be honest, your avatar, your eyes look coked out.
It's chibi,
A
not
little bit.
drugs. I didn't dare to do anything. I'm a sheriff.
What?
I'm a
Wait,
sheriff.
hold on.
Hey, Matt, have you ever met a cop who did cocaine? That's crazy talk.
So
right?
I will say that I had to get a waiver for if I got drug tested once. But this is what happened. I busted this trucker guy, right? And he had they were called Black Beauties, they're speed capsules or whatever, and I had to test it, right? So I'm at the lieutenant's desk, the desk lieutenant, and I take apart the capsule, right? And I tested it. It tested positive for amphetamines, whatever, right? But I got to scoop it back into the capsule, so I'm real close to it. And then out of nowhere, I had like that little thing where you have to sniff real quick, and I accidentally sniffed up some of this Black Beauty.
Accidentally.
It was truly an accident. The LT was right there when it happened. It was an accident. Thank God he was there. He had to do a statement. Anyway, I was up for like 3 days, but I had to get a waiver in case I popped hot. But I got so much work done over those 3 days.
So you
I did all the
know what I was
reports.
talking about.
And that's how we get all of our intros.
Yeah, I kept in contact with that truck driver.
Oh, that's funny.
Where are we at? Oh, he just got arrested. Got it.
Oh yeah, so he got arrested. This is in March. He was arrested for selling to the undercover cop. He talks to his lawyer and says, "Can we get this postponed?" So he gets out on bail. The trial's postponed. So in early April,
you can just do that.
This is the 70s, I guess.
And he's white. True.
Yeah. So that happens in March. So in April, he flies down to Mexico with a stolen document from the Black Vault.
Oh man.
And so this is, by the way, this is his method. He snorts some cocaine and then walks right over to the Soviet embassy and announces, "I have information about spy satellites."
Wait, one, the info you're selling is about that, like, directly. Why are you just going to be announcing the? You know what I mean? Like, also, they don't
At
have
least
a
leave a little
call.
bit of mystery.
They don't have an operator, like a receptionist you can call and make an appointment.
Yeah, I guess he just wanted to be bold, right? You're making a deal. He's basically,
he
I mean,
is a
this
salesman.
This
Movers
guy's
and
going to grow
shakers.
up to be Ellis from Die Hard. He's like, I'm going to make a deal.
See,
So he was.
see, this happens. Even Tina says, like, the brother-in-law's groomsman had a bag of cocaine explode in his face during a bust about 8 hours before the wedding. See, happens
A
all the
very
time.
funny story. I'm sure he was the most productive groomsman the entire time. He's like, he made sure everybody was sat properly and quickly. He did everything. He strung the lights. He put it all up. He's great.
Okay,
Yes, but who was getting busted there? The groomsman, or was he a cop?
no, he was a cop.
Okay.
Because I feel like
During a bust part.
Yeah.
That's
By the way, I see what you're doing there, Josh Hammond, about the Freemason shit. It would have made it easier to get away with stuff. Go on.
All right, so Dalton was given a meeting with a KGB agent named
Nice.
Vasily Okana.
That's a made-up name. All names
Of
are made
course
up,
he
but
is.
that one's made up specifically.
Yeah. So Vasily, Dalton told Vasily he had a socialist friend who worked for the U.S. government and
Wait.
had decided to help the Soviets by giving them American defense secrets, but expecting to be paid well in return. So there's
Wait.
a couple socialists in that, being
Hold on, real
socialist and
Yeah.
wanting to be paid well.
Oh, well, not only that, but was he a socialist?
I think they were trying to give it cover, like, hey, we're not just we're down
like trying
for
to
the
relate
cause.
to him. Like,
You
Yeah.
know, you gotta lead and pace, right? You gotta be with the person.
what
for-
you know,
for the
Vlad,
man that's still-
KGB. Yeah, you know me.
what was the dude's name? Igor, the
the
Wait.
KGB agent,
yeah.
Vasily.
Wouldn't his name be Michel?
No, he's not French.
He's Vasily.
Vasily. You know, Vasily,
I
what
think
you have
it's-
in
I think
common
it's
with
Michel.
my buddy, you're both socialist. You know, you guys have the same belief system. But we're gonna need to get paid a lot of money for this, though, for the
So
cause.
you wish for a communist nation?
Uh-huh.
Pay you?
Yeah.
So, well, yeah. So you remember how they had anticipated that the document's worth $20,000?
hmm
Dalton
my
gave Vasily the document, and Vasily promptly gave Chris $250 American and some vodka.
Hey, Vasily, real quick. I don't know if you heard me earlier about 20,000, but that was American,
Right, but this is Russian vodka.
right?
How much
Yeah.
is $20,000 in the 70s? Okay, that's
You know,
150,000.
can you even get Russian vodka anymore?
I mean, you can at the embassy in Mexico,
Oh, okay.
but you better be bringing some good shit, some good documents. What if I throw in 8-ball? Can we?
Actually, yeah.
You guys want to buy some drugs?
You guys want to buy
Buy
some
some
drugs?
drugs. Yes.
All right.
Yes, drugs.
So Vasily scheduled a second meeting with Dalton for April 23rd, where Dalton was supposed to bring additional materials from the Black Vault.
Was he trying to do the same thing he does with cocaine? He's like, listen, I'm gonna give you this one as at a discount. Just $250. Just $250. Right? But he got better ones.
This one is a discount. The next one, I'm going to give you the dick.
Yeah, exactly. Vasily gonna go. So I got the documents, but to be honest, we should just pay him. Right? But I'm kidding. He's 5'2". It's in there. I didn't even know it was in.
I want one of them mail order brides, damn it.
Anyway, so
he said he was going to come back with more.
Yeah, So Dalton spent a few weeks in Puerto Vallarta and then went back to Mexico City for the second meeting with Vasily, but he had no new documents and said deliveries would begin shortly. So he's already making excuses to the KGB on their first follow-up meeting.
He's just down there
They're
spending
known
all
for
that
being
money.
forgiving.
Yep. So in May, Dalton did get some Black Vault pages from Chris. So
Nice.
on May 18th, he gave them to Vasily in exchange for a few $1,000s.
Okay, cool.
Oh.
Vasily told Dalton how to set up future meetings by making an X out of white surgical tape on a lamppost the Soviets had under watch. This would allow them to meet the next day at 6 p.m. at a location determined in their previous meeting.
Yeah,
They had to show him how to make an X.
yeah. You don't know. It's that way you don't come in screaming. Oh, information. Weirdo.
Anyway, so we've got all right, so
He learned how to do an X, and then they worked
yep.
on shapes and colors.
Yep. So in July, Dalton returned again and gave Vasily 20 pages of messages from Pine Gap and got more money. This time they now received $10,000.
Nice. So it
After
worked.
after each
better.
meeting, Dalton used his share of the money to buy drugs from the Mexican
Oh my
mafia and then
God.
resell them to the U.S. drug dealers
Oh,
during
that,
a sept. Oh,
that
go
was a
ahead.
very, very productive
Right?
business
Like,
strategy. You
is
make
the-
money,
I'm
and
going to
then
make my money grow.
reinvest
Yeah.
and make money. I mean,
Smart. Yeah. I mean, we're going to diversify. We're going to do cocaine, heroin. We're going to do top secret information. We're going to have our hands into everything.
that's definitely one way to diversify your.
At Dalton Incorporated, we believe in diversification.
Yeah.
We don't just we're just not
state
drug
secrets?
dealers. We're also selling state secrets.
You want state secrets? We got state secrets. You want some medicine to help you stay awake while you read state secrets? We got that too.
No, we
Imagine
take
him all
medicine-
strung out like Crazy Eddie.
We
Do you
take-
need medicine to help you deal with what you just read? We got heroin for you.
No.
Starting in the next few months, we're planning to get into nightclubs too. We think that's another industry
You think
that
you
seems
think
to
you-
fit.
Holy shit!
Video
This
54.
world is going to hell in a handbasket. We got some weed for you. You can relax.
I love the idea of Dalton coming back. Chris, I bought a Blockbuster in Mexico. This thing is a moneymaker. Nothing will ever go wrong with our Blockbuster in Mexico.
Okay.
It was a video rental store.
Yep. So during a September meeting, Dalton was drunk and decided to tell Vasily everything he knew about Chris's work
Why?
at TRW. But he was smart. He gave Chris an alias of Cristobal.
What?
Cristobal. Cristobal.
Oh, he gave us
Because
this
his
name.
name-
It's
You see,
Cristobal.
his
We
real
don't-
name's Chris. It's nothing
Yeah.
like this code name.
So we're looking
Oh
at
my
the
God.
employee records. We don't see a Cristobal, but we see a Chris. I don't know. Maybe.
Hold on a second. It can't be this Chris. He was a janitor who got promoted, so he must
There's
be.
no way. Yeah.
He must be really pulling him up by his own bootstraps. He would never violate privacy.
Wait, what's my friend's name that has all the secret information? Cristobal. Yep, that's his name. Does he have a last name? Nope.
He's
His
like,
last name is Cabal.
I see like, Kevin Spacey and The Usual Suspects weaving that tale with all those names that he pulls, and I'm just
Kaiser
like,
says
you got nothing on Dalton, man. Nothing. Dalton, you couldn't pull a crystal ball,
He
to
was
a
Kaiser Soze.
I guarantee that he was looking around the room and was like Chris and saw a like a candy bowl or like a ball. So they're bowling, right? And he's like, "Hey, what's his Cristobal because of the bowling ball?"
He's like, he reaches into his pocket and he's got an 8-ball of cocaine. And he's
True.
like,
I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
ball.
Yeah, he's looking at the desk of all the items that he has out with the little price tags on it, like a garage sale. He's like, Cristobal. Ball.
Cristobal was fat, and I mean like orca fat.
A crystal
Soul
ball.
Assassin, I knew a crystal bowl in high school. Oh, I hope she was attractive to be cursed with that name. So, yeah. All right. So after this brilliant piece of brilliant spycraft, Dalton started to drop hints to everybody he knew about making deals with Russia for CIA secrets.
Dude.
But his
Yeah.
friends assumed he was lying.
No, man, I'm
But-
telling the truth, man. I'm gonna show you, dude. I'm gonna take a selfie with Vasily, and man, I'm gonna show you. What's that?
Shell?
Selfies aren't a thing.
So when a friend mentioned the a Robert Ludlum spy novel he was reading, Dalton said, "It's all real."
It's all real, man. I know this, dude. I deal with the KGB all the time, man.
So November of that year, Chris gave Dalton 4 rolls of film he said should be worth $50,000.
Oh, I wonder how much of that is gonna. Also,
So Dalton flew immediately to Mexico City, placed the X on the lamppost, but no one showed up
Wait.
to the meeting the next day.
okay, before you go on, is he bringing back an invoice? Because you're relying on, man. They only gave me $200 for this one, man. For real, like, check my
You-
receipts.
You remember, you've seen Casino, right, man?
Yeah.
You remember like the whole thing where they were able to bring down the entire Midwestern mafia that was running Las Vegas because that one fat ass was keeping a complete journal of his travel expenses.
Oh yeah.
Because they wouldn't reimburse him.
Yeah. Oh, or the first bombing at the World Trade Center, the dude went back to get a refund because on the vehicle.
It's criminal stupidity. So
No,
Dalton-
it's not criminal stupidity. What is it? It's greediness. You know, if criminals were less greedy, they would be more capable of committing crimes. That's all I'm saying.
I think they prefer to call it business savvy.
yeah.
I know my rights, man.
I'm just saying Chris shouldn't be relying on Dalton's word alone on how much he's
God
getting
damn
paid.
it! This is a
Oh, well-
business expense, and I expect to be compensated for it.
So here's where so maybe Chris was testing him because so we've had the X on the lamppost, but they didn't show up for the meeting. So Dalton, being Dalton, shows up at the Soviet embassy and demanded a meeting.
Hey man, do you see my ex?
So when he hands over the film that he was given by Chris, the Soviets look at it, and it only had a few negatives showing classified documents, and the rest were photographs of naked women from Hustler magazine.
Wow, and he's like, oh man, of course it happened. I mean, he shows up, like bitching about them not showing up for the X. Wow.
You know, this sounds like mostly the shit post we see on X all the time.
Yeah,
This
so
sounds
it's
like
all
he took a couple pictures of classified documents, and he was like, "Well, I don't want to waste my money on unused film. Wait, let me take some pictures of this hustler."
Oh, I sent the wrong roll. Crap.
Well, I don't want to like unwinding a roll when you haven't taken all the pictures is a pain. It's so much easier when the roll is done.
It's a
Yeah,
completionist thing. He just wanted to make sure he used up all
Oh
the
my
photos
God,
he paid for.
We're the last generation that's going to remember what it was like to actually have to load film into a camera and unload it to take it to get developed.
Oh, dude, when you drop the camera and the back pops off, and you're like,
And you're like, no.
You know, I
Because
thought
it's
there
gonna
were
get
still a few
exposed.
hipsters out there that only like the old school stuff.
Hipsters don't count.
Yeah.
yeah, hipsters aren't human.
No, they're soulless.
Are they?
Look,
Are they
they're the same kind of
procreating
punk. They're the same kind of people who would have a falcon named Muhammad and live out in the desert in a van and die in a
still?
hash
So
oil
yeah,
accident.
they are the last generation because they're not procreating. Okay,
I don't know if you realize this, but hipsters are a lot like puppets, right? Their mouths are moving, but there's nothing going on up there.
You know, I was already triggered by the title of this. You got a falcon, a bird that can fly, and the snowman, my natural climate, and I feel a little stuffed already.
Oh, it's sitting a little close to home.
Punk, you got to get over it because
Well,
the
that
natural
and he
state.
can't fly.
Yeah, the natural state of birds is to be able to fly. You are the way outlier in the bird.
Yeah,
community.
you and that dumb fucking parrot that can't fly.
You know what? Like I said, I'm already snuffed. Wait, I mean, poor choice of words. But
Wait, what? Did you say you're already stuffed?
I said snuffed.
In post, I'll fix it to where you said stuffed.
This is a live stream. You can't fix it.
Hey, Punkwaddle, is that an entire human hand up your ass, or are you just happy to see us?
All of the above.
So upon
All
his
above the
return,
way.
Yeah, you could be both.
upon his return to Palo Verde, Chris did tell Dalton the photos were a joke. Ha ha! I'm sure that hopefully that didn't get you in any trouble with the KGB.
Fuck you, motherfucker. You know I almost was murdered because of you.
So
Almost.
so this is in December of that year. A cop tried to pull over Dalton for a burnt out taillight. Dalton decided he should take off driving over 100 miles per hour.
Oh boy.
Eventually, he was stopped and he was arrested because
Why?
the officer noticed that his driver's license said he was 5 inches taller than he actually was.
Shut up. What? Hey, sir. No. The chase, all that's fine. But what we're really concerned about is you lying on this tape document.
Wait. So you're saying he was overcompensating? Did he also have truck nuts?
Of course he did.
So,
For some reason, this reminds me. Did anyone see the clip of the guy who stole the police car recently?
Yes.
And he's in the car, and he's like, "Oh, the devil's in the radio. Turn off the radio. Play me some hymns. Car, I rebuke all the demons in here."
It's so good, man. I've
That
stolen a
dude
cop
was
car,
on
but
some good shit. He must.
but
be
I
on,
was
like,
I was
But
a cop.
that was
when I
because
did it.
you took the
cocaine
wrong
and
one,
heroin.
right?
Well, no, I was a cop when I stole it, so it was cool. What happened was, so we had traffic cops, right? And some of them cool, most of them were assholes. I'm gonna be honest with you, but there was one cool dude, and he responded to the club. There was a fight outside or some shit, and I pulled up because I just got on shift. And I saw the car sitting there and it was running. I'm like, oh, I'm about to take that bitch. Right. So I hop in and there's all these people outside the bar. And I even get on the intercom, like, this isn't the first time I've stolen a cop car. And I went and I parked it where he couldn't see it. It turns out it wasn't my buddy. It was this other guy who was his name was Hawk. Like, no bullshit. This dude was famous because he
Was he a falconer?
He wrote his own wife multiple tickets.
I mean, I don't see what the problem is yet.
Yeah, I could see her being like, yeah, that's fine. I'm just gonna pay it.
Was
off
one
with
of the
money."
tickets for talking back too much?
I don't know. But when I saw him walking out looking for his vehicle, I'm like, fuck me. Because it was not the right guy. But luckily, he was so happy because he saw some chick taking a piss in the bush and was distracted. I was able to go back over there before he noticed.
Can we go over why he was so enthused to see that set of
Well,
look,
clearly-
I get to arrest this woman for
No, he
public
didn't know. What the
intoxication?
fuck? We're not gonna arrest you for that. You know how much paperwork that shit's gonna be for what? Taking a piss? No.
I feel like Hawk, as you described him, is the kind of guy who would arrest someone for doing that.
Seems
Well-
like a stickler for the rules.
You asked why he was so distracted by it. If you heard the part about the tickets to his wife, I'm sure it's the first time he's seen.
Was it his wife?
Anyway, so we keep going. Yeah, I did hear about the explosion on 35.
Okay. All right. So, so after his arrest for his fake driver's license, he bailed himself out with his drug money.
Cool.
And got his legal team to continue to get all of his trials and charges postponed for later down the road. So,
Can we not make America great again, like in this way, where if you're white, there's really nothing you can do for, you know what I mean?
so not
No,
having
Matt, would you care to elaborate?
Okay, what I'm
Yeah.
saying is, like, I get it. Equality's great. That's fine. I'm on board with that. But there should be levels to it.
Mad, your new channels don't destroy it.
There should be levels
All
to
I'm saying
equality.
is
Equality.
some people are more equal than others.
Right?
You know, that sounds like an equitable solution.
13 shows. It was a good run.
Yeah. Look at
And- We're done.
You know what?
At least
Maybe
it's
this
not a
one
Friday.
this wouldn't be happening if more people would watch. How about people watching? Share it with your friends.
I shared it out twice.
Although Mad's like, but only the right kind of friends.
Are
Yeah,
your
the
friends pissing you off?
Falconeers.
It's them off even more.
If you have Falconeer friends, share our stream.
Or birds of any kind.
All right. So, not having learned any lessons, Dalton kept using cocaine and heroin.
Yeah.
As
How
you
could you
do.
not? You're invincible.
Yeah, he's like a golden god.
So Chris had started to suspect that Dalton was underpaying him,
What?
and he
Based on
was
what?
right. There was supposed to be a 50-50 split, but Dalton was only giving him 20% of what they were getting from the Soviets.
Dude,
If
that's a
can't
big skim.
if you can't trust a coked out heroin dealing, also using business partner, who can you trust?
Yeah. So in addition to that, Chris had also heard that 2 people had died from heroin Dalton had been dealing. So Chris started to have an attack of moral
Wait.
clarity.
Did Chris think that maybe it was bad heroin?
Was he relapsing to his childhood and his moral fiber was then?
You know, man, I was reading this book. I don't know if you ever heard of it. It's called the Gospel According
The
to Mark.
Bible?
Yeah, and I got a bad feeling about this heroin dealer I've been hanging out with. I mean, his Falcon's cool and shit, but
I am not my brother's keeper.
yeah.
But Chris did start to wonder, is what I'm doing wrong? And
Yeah.
Wait, which
so
part?
All of it.
So Chris was continued to contemplate this as he drank and flew his Falcon Pips in the mountains because his
Pips,
Falcon
I
was
just don't
named Pips.
understand, man. Oh, Pips, I don't know what to do, buddy. I'm in deep now.
And
I
then,
wish you could
talk
talk
to
the
me,
drugs kicked
Talk
in.
to me,
and
Pips.
was
Talk to
like-
me, Pips.
And Pips was like, "You got to kill that motherfucker and get what's yours."
Fuck, Pips, you're right.
When that VW van exploded.
All right, so we're into the next year, so it's March. Dalton had traveled to Mexico City and gave the Soviets 10 rolls of film with highly classified documents. At the meeting, Dalton was given a new KGB handler with the code name Boris, because they're being very on nose. So when Dalton arrived back in LA, he went to a party, opened his suitcase, and $10,000 and $100 bills spilled out onto the floor. He promptly announced to the entire party, Uncle Sam paid for it.
No, they didn't.
Listen, if
Well,
if
indirectly,
Boris is buying government secrets from you, that's fine. Just don't buy a gun from Boris.
Yeah, yeah, but it's heavy. The weights, you know. If it doesn't work, you can hit them with it.
Sneaky fucking Russian.
Guy comes back
Boris
and
the
says,
Sickle.
"Man,
Why do they
you'll
call
go
him
good,
Boris the
good."
Sickle? Because he's in the KGB, Evie.
So at his
Tommy,
next meeting,
before the Germans get here.
so at their next monthly meeting, Dalton gave Boris and the other KGB agents present a trove of documents, including one about a U.S. submarine spying on Soviet missile tests in the Arctic.
What does Pips have to say about this? Is he not telling Chris, hey, Chris, I think this dude is like, I think you need to slow down, man. I know, man. I don't know. It doesn't feel right. This is the last 20,000 document bundle I'm giving him.
So Dalton demanded $50,000, saying he was risking his life and not
But-
getting enough.
Wait, who demanded it?
Dalton.
After he gave it to them?
He gave them this set of documents
Uh-huh.
and said he wanted $50,000 for it. And this is his quote, apparently, to them. If you don't like the information and don't start paying more, we'll sell it to the Chinese.
Maybe we should talk about this in the back office.
Well, they didn't have to do that because the KGB agent just simply responded, looking him dead in the eye, and said, "You don't carry a gun."
Meanwhile, having a conversation with Pip later, and Pip's like, "I think our Dalton problem is going to take care of itself pretty soon. You
Fucking
don't have
Dalton's
to worry
like-
about that anymore."
That's a weird question to ask me, man. Like
pulling the art of the deal, Dalton immediately demanded $10,000.
Well, he
And
dropped
they
from
said-
50 to 10,000.
Yes.
Nailed it.
Did he
So-
read that in Trump's book?
He's a,
You know, now that you bring up guns, man, I just realized that I owe you a $30,000 discount from that vodka you gave me. Remember, man, back then when we were happy.
Visit number 1.
Yes, so they gave him the $10,000, but at the next monthly meeting in June, the Soviets were treating Dalton very coldly, as you would expect after the shenanigans he
Right.
just pulled. In July, he was arrested for drunk driving in Palo Verdes and bailed
Oh, boy.
himself out. But at this point, he was almost broke from spending all the money he had received.
What was he spending on other than lawyers, cocaine, heroin, parties, and vodka?
I think it's
Travel.
it's not the blow, it's the hookers, right?
By the way,
So
who are these lawyers that are able to keep this guy from even seeing a judge? He has yet to go to trial
He's
for
probably
any of
paying
these
them.
charges.
He's probably
Listen,
paying-
listen, okay? If the falconeering glove don't fit, you must quit.
How long you been sitting on that one?
A while.
20 minutes or so.
So you're gonna be shocked to find out that Dalton came up with a plan.
Oh,
He would save his money over the next few months, spend it on one last drug buy and sell,
Fucking
and then
A.
move to Costa Rica and live off the proceeds.
He is like the equivalent of movie tropes. Like all of this, if you know what I mean, like this is exactly what they
this
would
is
do
the
in the
guy.
movie. While we're all like, no, man, don't. Just one last bust, man, and then I'm done. I'm gonna hang it up. Just gonna retire with my Falcon.
Dalton was like, "I'm getting too old for this shit."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So at the same time, Chris had decided he wanted out. He had toyed with the idea of taking Dalton to the desert and killing him, but decided
that definitely came
would-
from Pips.
That's
that
what
came
Pip
from
told
Pips.
him to do.
Yeah.
but decided that wouldn't actually solve his problems.
It would.
So he came up with a new plan to talk to the Soviets himself and tell them he wanted out.
Oh my
So in
god.
Oh, this is a way worse plan. Just take Dalton out to the desert and kill him.
I'm Cristobal.
So
Maybe you've heard of me.
So in October, Chris flew to Mexico City with Dalton, and they met Boris on a public street where they were promptly taken via limo to the Soviet embassy, where
Nice.
Chris was greeted warmly and thanked for helping the socialist cause. They were given a Russian feast, including Russian vodka.
Oh, okay.
And then was
Yeah,
asked
cool.
about had they seen a moose and squirrel.
So
And now
Chris
everything
hated.
is copacetic.
Unfortunately, Chris couldn't enjoy it because he was constantly worried the food was poisoned.
Why would he ever think that? Like, yeah, no,
Yes.
those Hessler pictures. Yeah, man. Yeah, that was Dalton. That was a good
Hilarious.
idea.
It's because when they set the plate in front of them, they were like, "Here you are. It is not poisoned."
Yeah.
Only that.
Just so you know, this is a farm to table. No poison introduced to
When you
vodka.
leave meal,
Also kosher if you go in for that kind of thing, but definitely not poison.
it's like when you leave meal, we give you Russian nesting doll as souvenir. You take home, give to mother. It's great gift.
I mean,
It's
they were
one size
initially
bigger-
upset about the pictures, but they were fine with it. Trust me.
They're like, we decided we thought they were Playboy at first. Men
On
from
this-
Smoking Jacket doesn't show everything in pictures, but this was Hustler. We enjoy very much.
Honestly, we're just glad to do with someone other than Dalton. That guy, not a fan. His Falcon cool though.
Why is he turning into Christopher Walken?
Of all the people on this panel that turned to Christopher Walken,
Yeah, I'm coming for your spot.
Matt's been working on it.
Yeah, by doing a entirely different accent.
Yes. As Matt usually somehow trips into it.
That is like the Beautiful Mind autism kind of scene with all the numbers swirling as he's doing one accent, other accents swirl in, and he's.
I have accent dyslexia. Okay,
Dyslexia.
The word "dick" keeps slipping out of your mouth tonight, man.
Better than in. We can move on.
I'm glad you're like, we can move on when you said better than in. We're like, oh, that's not how I genuinely feel. I don't want them to ask me questions.
That's the old channel?
Question mark?
All right. So at the dinner, Boris decided to ask Chris very detailed questions about the Black Vault.
Nice.
But a drunk Dalton kept butting in.
Oh, fuck. Why did he bring him?
Because he was the contact, yeah. But Boris also proceeded to get super drunk, and he and Dalton got into an argument and almost came to blows.
Wait, Dalton who?
Dalton.
Boris.
Boris and Dalton almost got into a fight.
I want Boris to beat the shit out of Dalton.
So, cooler heads prevailed, and by the end of the dinner, Boris proposed that Dalton make one final delivery in January. Chris quit his job at TRW, and then the Soviets would pay for Chris to go to get a college degree, then join the CIA as a Soviet mole.
So they were doing cocaine at this dinner.
Joke's on the Russians. He doesn't go to school.
Yeah, but he's gonna quit, and then they're gonna pay for his tuition and stuff, so he goes to college. It's like The Departed.
The Soviet GI Bill.
Yeah.
It would. I mean, if you're, it makes sense because
you want to quit. I have counteroffer. We make you full-time employee now.
We pay for everything.
I mean, because he's already got the top secret clearance, so once he has a degree, he'd be pretty much. This is the 70s. He would get the job at the CIA.
Wait, hold on.
We have great medical plan. You go to doctor, you tell doctor I sick. Doctor says you're not sick.
Real quick, I think USA was already around, so yeah. Anyway,
what, the USA? Yeah, for a minute.
No, USAID.
Oh, USAID. Oh, that makes more sense.
All right. So first off,
what year did we start?
I don't know, but AIDS is full blown now.
Yeah. So Chris,
thanks, Fauci.
Yeah, once we lived through the 80s, everything was.
It could be airborne. You can't be anywhere near your family members who have it.
Don't eat cereal.
I know. I think Pip's got the HIV.
Like,
poor Pips.
I got bad news for you. We're gonna have to take Pips. We're gonna put him in a cage and experiment on him. It's fine. You'll be fine.
And since he won't shut up, we're gonna snip his vocal cords.
Hey, Boris.
Walker says I have AIDS.
Hey, Boris. My Pips, man. He's real sick. Do you have Magic Johnson's number? Like, I heard he gets the good stuff. He was a famous basketball player.
We know the cure. You just have to inject $400,000 into your bloodstream.
You know, I was trying to figure out how to get the Magic Johnson references, but you beat me to it.
Yeah, bro. Like, again, I don't know why people, more people don't do his regimen of like sweating it out. You know.
All right, so
that's what I did for chlamydia. I guess took some Tylenol. I guess ran a couple miles and sweat that shit out.
I mean, it worked for all.
Just rub some dirt on it.
Yep.
Yes, with the oldies.
What was it that they always give you in the military, Slender? It's like 800 milligrams of. It's like the strongest stuff you can get.
Talking about Yellow Jackets?
No.
From everybody took that shit.
No, you go to sick call, right? And all they ever give you is
800 milligrams ibuprofen.
800 milligrams of Motrin.
Motrin. It's Motrin. Yeah. That was the good stuff, man.
And then they tell you, if it's really bad, you can double up.
Yeah.
1,600 milligrams. What's that going to do to your stomach? It's not going to be good, but you'll feel okay for a little bit.
Your stomach will be fine. Your liver? Your liver might not like it.
Well, again, like when we were in, there was a couple wars going on, so they weren't really concerned about the future of their soldiers and military members. It was more about what can we do to move past this little bit, because like before I deployed, you had to go see all these people, like, and you see the dentist, and the dude's like, well, you already had 2 of your wisdom teeth taken out. We'll worry about the other 2, if you come back. I said, because I have stuff in my mouth. He goes, when? I meant when you come back, we'll take care of the other 2.
Dude, they kept eyeing my wisdom teeth the entire time I was in the military.
Yeah.
Every single year, they were like, those wisdom teeth giving you any problems, any headaches, anything like that? I'm like, no. They're like, you want us to remove them? No.
I've had more issues since I got them taken out than I ever did before.
I
I
don't
only
got
have
the other
having
two
a
two.
problem.
anyway. Like, apparently, I don't have the full 4. I only have 2.
Well, they are wisdom teeth.
Eventually, all humanity is going to lose them. We're devolving away from having
That's
the force.
that's what I was told. I was told
Yep.
by a civilian dentist after I got out that apparently I'm more evolved because
I was about to say, "Ooh, look at me! I'm more involved in you."
I'm further along in my evolution than you plebs.
Next, I'll be autistic like in that Predator movie.
God, I hope not.
Slender's like, pay no attention to that vestigial tail.
What?
His tail.
I mean, can you move Brahma lower somehow?
My goodness.
To the chat.
All right.
Wait, so what? All right, so everybody's cool. So
yeah.
they're offering to pay for his college so he can join the CIA.
Yeah,
Got
so
it.
Chris thought it over and realized that this was great because after graduating, he could
What
just
the fuck? He had a moral quandary with whether or not it was okay to do this, but then they're like, "We'll hire you on full time."
No, hold on.
Hold
he
on.
said because in his
Benefits are a
head,
hell of a thing, man.
he thought that he could after graduating he could just cut ties with the Russians and
That's
not
not-
actually follow through.
He's trying to cheat the Russians.
Oh, he's not going to quit school this time. Yeah. He's just going to quit.
Now that you have doctorate, now that you have your doctorate, do you join CIA? No. Well, okay. Nice knowing you.
This was Russian student loan, you piece of shit. You don't get no deferment on student loan.
But Biden said that
we own Biden too. We have for years.
Russia
Biden was alive back then.
Loan forgiveness.
Biden was already a senator, so this was all happening while Biden was a senator on like the intelligence committees as this was at. Biden is probably how this guy got a clearance.
Oh boy.
He's
Biden
like,
was the first Swalwell.
Come on, man.
He's like, this kid is brilliant. I'll never meet anyone more smarter until Hunter comes along.
Until little Hunty.
You know what's funny? He's like this Dalton. I'm not sure about Chris, but this Dalton kid, he's got it put together.
I think I met Dalton once when I was hanging out with Corn Pop.
Hey, if you don't vote for me, you're not a Falconer.
All right. So even though they had come up with a plan for the one last drop in January, Dalton needed money now. And using film strips he had collected from Chris months earlier, he went back to Mexico City, even though this was not not January yet for the meeting they had planned.
He's trying to pass off generic fucking shit as name brand.
No, well, I guess it's real stuff from the vault. It was just he had held on to it.
He just had extra shit. How much did he take from the vault? Is no one at that company like, our library's really like
paper's getting smaller and smaller.
Yeah.
Well, no, they're taking pictures of it. Yeah.
Oh,
and mixing
that's why it's on the film. Hustler. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't know why I was
microfilm. They take that and then you can blow up the negative to be the full document.
Wait, so no one, you didn't even have to. Did he not have? Were there not a little like basket where you have to put your keys in anything that is in your pockets before you go into the black room?
Oh, you think this was a skiff?
Yes.
I mean, it sounds like a skiff.
Yes.
Well, apparently they weren't patting him down. I mean, look, remember the leak with all the stuff that got sent to WikiLeaks was because they let the soldier in with a rewritable CD that was labeled Lady Gaga because it was like, oh, that's just his music CD, and he
I would have
burned
let that into
all of the stuff onto it.
But I mean,
didn't believe his poker face.
We give.
Hey, I was gonna make that joke. You just beat me to it.
Don't try to take credit for other people's
shit.
Penalty.
I think that Hollywood has made us have such high belief in the capabilities of our government. Because you think about the recruit with Colin Farrell and what they had to do to try to get information out with coffee, like with your coffee cup or whatever, your mug, and you had a secret compartment and had to do all this. When really you're like, what's that? Oh no, this is my road trip mix 98.
Back in
What is it?
my
Oh,
day, when
it's-
you wanted to steal government secrets, you just walked in with a camera, snapped a couple photos,
Well,
and walked out with a hustler.
Yeah, you didn't have to disguise it as MTV's Buzzbin.
Well, remember when they decided that like Furbies were not cool because they could record things?
You think something like this happened, and that's the reason why?
No, I'm just saying. Remember when they're like Furbies are bad toys because they could accidentally record something, and you're like, really? Because now we have phones and everything else, and all the stuff that's going on.
I feel like that doesn't negate the point they were making about
Yeah.
Furbies. It actually just supports it. Like we're recording a lot of dead things.
Couldn't trust Furbies or Teddy Ruxpin.
What do they call
mean-
you in the
Punk,
KGB?
Punk, I was pulling for you so hard this week. I was like, he's gonna finish on top. He's gonna finish on top. Oh,
I did so well for so long.
you let me
Wait,
down
tonight?
Yeah, I was on the top row for a while.
By Punk
All right,
standards,
what, fourth
that's pretty
quarter?
good.
Yeah, all right.
All right, so so Dalton's in Mexico City.
Punk
He
is
puts-
who we thought he was.
He's
Anyway,
put,
let him
he,
off
put
the
the,
hook.
he put the X on the lamppost, but Boris didn't show up the next day at 6, as was traditional
Yeah.
from their plans.
Mhm.
So Dalton walked into the
God
embassy,
damn it.
pulled out the film, and demanded $10,000.
Nobody wants to work with Dalton.
For-
Everybody hates this motherfucker.
You
It
know
shows
the
that
front
crystal
the
ball.
front the front desk clerk was like, "How many times do I have to go over this? I cannot buy anything from you."
So Boris, showed up along with 2 embassy employees who promptly dragged Dalton out to a limousine. And after a 50-minute drive, the limo slowed and Dalton was pushed out the door as it moved.
Okay, a couple things.
Dude, this is
That
a kinder, gentler KGB, huh?
well, because I mean he's still useful because of Chris. 2, that had to be the longest 50-minute ride of his life.
If
You know what I
he's-
You think
No,
the other guy
this
was
dude
like,
is
"You
so
start carrying
fucking
gun yet?"
ignorant.
Yeah.
This
I
dude
mean-
is so fucking ignorant. He didn't even think about the fact that they might kill him at the end of that drive.
He also may be like a nephew of God. There's no way he should have this level of protection from cops, from the justice system.
You know, maybe he had just a little extra Mexican
Holy-
coke on him.
Holy shit, Slender's right. He is Kaiser Soze. Like, this man is protected from up on high.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, all right,
How
go
has his
on.
case been delayed 3 years?
All
I'm
of
gonna
them?
say it's all the Mexican coke. It's always.
I don't know if he's a nephew of God or if God's just like, no. I'm getting way too much entertainment out of this.
Yeah.
Do not let them kill that guy.
Hold on. I gotta see what happens next. I gotta see. All right. So
if we can put him and Trump together somehow, my God.
So Dalton was shaken but not injured after being thrown out of the moving car. At this point, Chris was accepted to UC Riverside, that's University of California,
Nice.
and Chris was planning with Dalton to make the final delivery. But Dalton said it was a bad idea after what had just happened to him.
Did he tell Chris what had happened to him?
I guess. Chris said that the last photos of materials he had taken should be worth at least $75,000. And at that point, Dalton agreed.
Yeah. So he was like, no, man. Like, I got a bad feeling that they've been acting weird, man. I don't think we should do it. 75,000? Yeah, fuck it, let's do it.
Yeah, they're
So at
probably
this-
not going to give us 75,000 though. They'll probably only give us about 25, but I'll split that
Yeah.
with you 50-50. You'll get 12 and a half, I'll get 12 and a
I
half.
mean, you've been honest so far, Dalton. Yeah, of course. What do you think,
Yeah.
Tips?
And
so at
Pips
this,
is like,
Your mic stopped everything from
Kinda
coming
glad
out.
it stopped.
so at this point, they had
Pips
taken.
Pips is like, get it in writing.
At this point, they had gotten over $77,000 from the Soviets, of which Chris had only gotten 20%.
Dang.
But
So
real
on
quick,
January-
I'm proud of Chad for not going with the shaken but not stirred joke.
You know,
That
I
took
almost,
restraint.
I almost made that joke, but I didn't want to be relegated to chat.
Good restraint.
I'm learning.
So
Sometimes you can have too much restraint, right, Imp?
Yeah, sure.
So at this point, Dalton finally got a trial date
For which case?
for his original one.
With
from
the
years
undercover
ago.
cop that busted him?
Yeah.
Was
So
the trial date set for like 6 years down the road?
No, it was set for
Kill him.
January 20th of
Right, that's
the up.
Now we got a ticking clock.
Yeah.
So it was set for January 20th. Never mind that it was February 3rd.
But by the way,
Yeah.
this no wonder is made into a movie because now we're introducing the ticket clock. Like, oh man, we got to do this last run before my court date.
So Dalton, being the planner that he was, has managed to get his schedule aligned in what he thought was the perfect way. Final meeting with the Soviets January 5th. Drug buy from the Mexican mafia on January 7th. Return to the United States, offload that before his trial date, get the money, and go to Costa Rica.
I mean, yeah, bro. Like, there seems plenty of time for if something happens, you can adjust.
No, this
So
plan is bulletproof.
Yeah, so Dalton boarded the plane for Mexico with the
This
negatives,
is Dalton we're talking about.
not intending to return because that's his plan
Yeah.
now. But Boris did not show up at the meeting as
Fucking
planned.
Boris.
With the
Is he
drug,
still upset?
with the drug buy wound up for only 2 days later. Dalton, who was drunk and high on cocaine at the time, walked
Always when he
again.
makes his best decisions.
Yeah.
The gate was closed this time. So he tore the cover off his Spanish-English dictionary, wrote the letters KGB on
Oh
it,
my
and
God.
crumpled it up and threw it through the gate.
They'll see that, right? They'll get it.
An embassy employee did pick up the paper, but a Mexican cop rushed over to question Dalton after seeing these actions.
You littering motherfucker. This is Mexico. We don't deal with that type of shit.
You buy our Coke and you leave.
Essay?
So Dalton said he was an American tourist who had just thrown away some trash, and the cop was about to let him go until he noticed, like the Columbo style, just one last thing. He noticed that Dalton had dropped a joint and was trying to hide it under his foot.
That's some good detective work there,
This-
Columbo.
Man, this sounds like nothing like what Mexico is now.
Yeah.
Well, he was standing right outside the Russian embassy. So my guess is this Mexican cop was actually on the U.S. payroll and was supposed to take into custody anybody who was acting suspicious around the Russian embassy.
I thought that he was just on regular foot patrol and happened to be in the area. But okay.
No,
with yours.
no, I'm gonna guess. I mean, look here. I've got two options for you, Matt, and I want you to
Okay.
pick the more likely one. A Mexican cop actually doing his job and using his gut to arrest a real criminal.
Okay. Yep.
That he's on the take from the U.S. government and was doing something corruptly, and so he accidentally lucked into arresting a criminal.
So I don't know why those have to be exclusive though. Like you can still be a paid agent of the.
Both of these things can be true.
Yeah.
Let's get out the concentric circles.
We need to get moving. I'm sorry I derailed us on that dumb shit. It doesn't matter.
All right. So Dalton was taken to a police station and searched, and said that the film strips in his pockets were for a commercial he was shooting.
All right. Now we need to check your other pocket.
But he also had a postcard in his pocket that had a photo of an intersection where a week earlier a Mexican cop had been killed by Mexican communists, and the cops were convinced he was involved in the murder.
Oh fuck!
It's like all the luck Dalton had ran out.
Evaporated. Yeah.
God was finally like, "All right, I'm bored." Right.
Yeah, we got to wrap this up. This is the third act.
So the next day, Chris called Dalton's hotel and found out he had been arrested. So on January 10th, knowing he would be arrested soon, Chris still started school at UC Riverside.
It's fine. It's fine. If I don't think about it, it won't bother me. You know, I just keep.
Meanwhile, it's like, dude, you are fucked. We need to leave the country. We got to get the fuck out of here.
Pips is fine.
In a surprising twist, Chris was more focused on his
Chris,
schoolwork than he had been.
Cristobal, it's not fine. We're fucked. You hear me?
But Pips, I guess I'm rush week is next is coming up. I want to be a part of Kappa Peta Pi.
See, this is why you're 20%, Chris. This is why you're 20%. So I suggest you take your fucking 20%, you buy a plane ticket, and you get us the fuck out of here.
That's it. I'm throwing the blanket over your cage. Go to sleep.
All right.
Isn't that what they do with birds, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
they do. It works on people too. If you put a person,
if you have a person in the cage.
No, if you have a person in
border?
a very dark room where it's just pitch black, they'll fall asleep during the day. Make them so they don't know any sense of day and night. Yeah, it's that kind of thing.
Oh,
So-
yeah. What's this bucket of water for? Don't worry about it. Anyways, moving on.
Well, that's a good. Funny you mentioned that because we returned to Mexico where the interrogation of Dalton was continuing and increasing in its brutality.
See how professional my transition was?
He was beaten, forced to drink untreated Mexican water,
Oh,
which caused him to have severe diarrhea.
Okay, in Mexico's defense, though, they probably were just giving him water.
yeah, it's just untreated water. Like it's not like they just go into the faucet or go into the river and give him water.
Imagine they're accusing you of torturing him with untreated water. Nah, he looked thirsty. I gave him a cup of water. I don't know why I went Japanese. Well, let's move on.
That was Japanese to you?
It was Asian.
Let's
It was
just say
Asian.
Montezuma does
Pepe
have
Le Pew is
to
known for living in Kyoto. So Matt,
hola.
Matt, I see your point a little about the water. If they didn't then start pushing his head into the diarrhea-filled toilet,
Okay,
I feel like that definitely moves it into the area of brutality and torture.
Okay, fine. Maybe there was a couple of things that were questionable.
So 4 days.
not revenge. That's just straight up vengeance.
Yeah.
So 4 days after his arrest on January 14th, Dalton was turned over to the FBI.
For what?
He told a mostly true version of the previous few years,
But mostly true version. No, I never owned the Falcon though.
But downplayed how much money he and how often how much money he made and how often he'd met with the Soviets. He said Chris told they were working as subcontractors for the CIA, purposely feeding the KGB false intelligence.
I thought I was doing it for you guys, man. I thought we were on the same team, man. That's what I was told. I was misled.
Yeah, so Dalton said, and I quote,
That's witness testimony.
I got in this to screw the Russians, not help.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh man, I feel so foolish.
So
anyways,
on
to fund my
January
drug
6th,
habits.
on January 16th, Chris's car was swarmed by FBI agents outside his Riverside house.
What the fuck? How long what is this, Slender?
What?
He probably just made it.
Never you mind what I'm doing.
All right, go on.
So he was arrested by FBI agents at his home, with one agent screaming, "Do you know what you're charged with? Espionage. Where are the documents, you fucking traitor?"
Pips, awake! Look. Why are you holding on to that bird's talons? Pips, go! Go, Pips!
I can't lift you, idiot.
The wrong Falcon blew up.
Wrong bird died.
Fuck you, Pip. I knew Muhammad was really the one. All right. So at the FBI's LA headquarters, Chris started talking and said, and I quote, "Politically, I'm very disenchanted with the government. It's done many things wrong."
Is he trying to aboutism in his interview? Yeah, I mean, I may have made mistakes, but I got to be honest, you guys, assholes.
Yeah, I'm sure that the FBI at the height of the Cold War is going to be very, very understanding about, like, oh, we've, both sides.
Yeah, right. You make some valid points. Yeah, we should do better.
Be friends.
So he told them the entire story, finishing saying, "Well, this has been a nightmare," and then requested a lawyer, with his trial promptly beginning April 12th, 1977.
I mean, you should have got one of those Dalton lawyers.
The federal prosecutor said Chris was responsible for the biggest breach of security in America since World War II. And the trial did include the CIA's first public admission that it was using secret spy satellites. The reveal of a CIA presence at Pine Gap caused a media firestorm in Australia, and the CIA's deception about spying on Australians led to a diplomatic crisis between the U.S. and Australia.
Maybe you didn't want to go public, huh?
Now, under oath, because Chris was such an upstanding and moral person, he lied and said that this all started when he gave a letter to Dalton about America deceiving Australia, hoping to be a whistleblower.
Okay, all right.
He claimed Dalton promised to give the letter to a friend in the media, but instead sold it to the Soviets and then proceeded to blackmail Chris to continue helping him.
Now, Cristobal, let me ask a follow-up. You wanted to be a whistleblower, so you went to your coke-addicted, heroin-dealing, 5'2",
acne-ridden
friend. He's the only friend I have, man.
I don't know what his height has anything to do with this.
Yeah.
You know, Cristobal, we interviewed Pip, and he does not corroborate your story.
Well, the jury didn't believe him either, and he was found guilty of espionage and conspiracy to commit espionage.
Wait,
in May, Dalton was found guilty of the same charges. While in jail awaiting sentence, I guess there's no further mention of Pips.
Oh.
While in jail awaiting sentencing, Chris considered suicide, even making a noose out of his pants before he got cold feet and backed out. Dalton was sentenced to life in prison, but Chris only got 40 years. So all that luck for Dalton did start shifting.
I mean, to be honest, though, he had a couple other issues that may have contributed to his longer sentence.
Yeah, I'm guessing the issue about the selling drugs in addition to the espionage was
the police chase. Didn't he have a couple other charges too? The DWI.
Yeah, the burnt out taillight.
So this all, by this time this all got to a federal judge, he was probably like, how the fuck was this not in court already?
Yeah.
Just like, I'm sentencing you extra for the years you got off without having to have any. So with good behavior, they would both be eligible for parole around 1995. Dalton was sent to Lompoc, and Chris was not originally sent to Lompoc, but transferred there in 1979.
The boys are back together.
This is also in 1979 is when Robert Lindsay published a book about this story called The Falcon and the Snowman. Chris and Dalton initially butted heads while in prison, but eventually calmed down and became friends again, spending hours playing chess together and drinking contraband alcohol.
I kind of like that, man. They're like, yeah, we had our differences, but at the end of the day, we're all humans. You know what I mean? We're just bros.
This is the only guy who gets me.
Right. I mean, literally, he's the only one here in this prison that knows anything about falcons.
Yeah. So, in letters to friends, Chris did write, these were not prisons of civilized society.
Oh, God.
And said his hatred for America was being affirmed.
This just proves I was right the whole time, man.
Yeah.
So one day in the yard, Chris noticed a tiny gap at the foot of the guard tower. The only thing between the yard and freedom was a 10-foot tall chain link fence.
I bet Pips could lift me over that. It's only 10 feet.
Chris came up with an escape plan and asked Dalton to join him. And Dalton said, "You got me in enough trouble already. I don't need you or anyone else to save me."
Pip took a plea deal.
By the way, I think we just realized what Dalton's like when he's not high, when he's clean. He's like, actually, that sounds like a bad idea.
No, you did this to me.
Yeah, you'll get yourself killed. I do want to contradict Dalton in saying that Chris was the one who did that to him.
Yeah,
but
I do like Chris is like, man, you've changed, dude.
You used to be cool, Dalton.
I don't even know you anymore.
Yeah, so when Dalton finished, "You'll get yourself killed," Chris responded, "I'm already dead."
God, the level of he's so.
He was.
I don't.
Was he like the
I'm
first?
not locked in here with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Forget hipsters.
Matt, do you think that he would be at the Black Parade if he was
that, or he would be a bread tuber? Like, he is them. He's wrong.
He's
aggressively wrong, but has like the belief
I am
system.
them, they are me.
Yeah.
So on January 21st, 1980, Chris placed a dummy in his bed. We don't know how he made.
How did he get a dummy?
Yeah, I'm addressing that. I have no idea.
I'm assuming he tied some pillows together or something.
Oh, I was thinking Pip's like brought it to the window.
Pip was bringing him
I told you, dude. Pip took a plea deal. He's gone.
All the years of being around the bird, he learned nesting habits and how to pick up individual items to make into a bigger item.
I think Pip may have brought it like one by one, like one twig at a time to the window.
Pip is in like the witness protection program.
Yeah, he's in WIPO.
Oh man!
But no, my name's not Pips. It's Pippa the Ball.
Pippa Ball.
Yeah.
That sounds like a Pokemon name.
I'm just a normal falcon. I have no connection to espionage.
Okay, Piplup is a Pokemon, and it is looks kind of like a penguin.
Oh, do you think Pip was the key witness that took him down?
I think so.
Had to be.
Everything's about penguins.
He walked like an eagle, and everybody believed him.
You know what? Like Pip went in there and was like, "Look, I know I'm not an eagle, but you can trust me. I'm going to tell the truth." And
he sounds so majestic and American when he speaks.
You can't
If you close your eyes, I can just picture an eagle. Go on.
The Eagles take Sam and Frodo directly to the end. You can't trust
the prosecutor's closing statement was, "Listen to everything Pip said, but close your eyes
closed. Yeah,
and pretend it was a bald eagle."
They're just like, it's so American. Send them to bird jail. Wait, no, not him. Whatever. Go
on. So Chris put the dummy in his bed, hid in a shallow hole he had dug in the yard, which I guess nobody noticed him do.
Man, Chris is spending a lot of time with that spoon over by the.
And after dark, he just climbed right over the chain link fence without being spotted.
Wait, what was? Oh, because he hid in the hole, right? Okay, and then at night he climbed over the fence. Cool.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry. Yeah.
I was gonna say he survived on berries and insects for a few days until he reached a town, then spent a few weeks in the hills stealing food at night from houses, and hitchhiked to a remote spot on the Canadian border and walked across.
So he lived like a falcon.
Born free.
But he immediately crossed back into the United States, stating later he stated, as if reeled in by some imperceptible tether. Unable to leave America, he settled in Bonner.
He kept asking Canadians if they had any snow, and they were like, "Oh, we got plenty of snow. Hey, it's outside."
Or he's probably like, "You know what's wrong with Canada, man? Let me tell you, it's the system."
So my conscience says I can't, in good conscience, go across a border illegally.
Man, fuck these Canadian Falcons, man. They're just stuck up, dude.
Now he learned that message from SLC Punk. You can't change it unless you're in the system.
I came here looking for Pip. Is Pip here? Tell him I'm not here. Tell him I'm not fucking here.
How did he find
me? I went back to America or something.
He was like, I'm from California. I can't stand hockey. I have to go back. So he settled in Bonners Ferry, Idaho, 20 miles south of the Canadian border, and used the fake alias Jim Namecheck.
Wait, what?
And I thought Chris the Ball was bad.
Was he just like, "Oh, what's my name? It's Jim. My name. Gotta check. Jim Namecheck."
It was the 5 minutes of info.
Is that as good as "I'm Han"? What's your last name? Nothing. So you're by yourself. You got no people.
Solo.
Han Solo. All right. So he got a job at a farm, rented a cabin, bought a mule.
No, but it's pronounced Namichek.
Namachek.
Yeah.
It's Canadian.
So he got a job at a farm, rented a cabin, bought a mule, and became friends with local ex-cons and outlaws.
Wait, in Idaho?
Yep. He started helping them run a marijuana growing operation.
Fuck me.
Sounds more like Australia.
Yeah, so no, I just got to...
He
I
had
just got to
real-
stay down low. You know what I mean? Don't draw a lot of attention to myself. Anyways, we should grow
Oh
marijuana.
well,
They're about
shockingly,
to start a communist fucking commune.
no. Here's the thing: or shockingly, he was completely open about his real identity and told random loggers at bars about his adventures, even showing them copies of the Falcon and the Snowman.
Yeah, man. This
My
book's
name
based
isn't
on-
actually Jim Namecheck.
It's Cristobal. Of course, he told everyone because everyone was like, "Yeah, sure, bro."
Yeah.
So the few who believed him never went to the cops. So he wasn't, even though he was being upfront about who he was. But he wasn't going to just settle at helping with marijuana farming. On January 5th, 1980, he also robbed a bank in Spokane, Washington.
You gotta give him
First-
credit for his ambition, if nothing else.
Really? I think he's like babyface Nelson. I think he may have some type of mental disorder to where he just cannot help himself. You know?
I think he was made into a hardened criminal by the system, man. He was put in
Oh,
he
wow.
was just
Product of the system.
he was just
man.
a simple, like terrorist spy until
Or
he
by
was
his
put
slightly-
in jail.
Or by a slightly Irish grandmother who keeps cocaine down her bra.
What?
He was gonna try.
That
and
was a
straighten-
Have you not been
reference
watching
to
Mobland?
We'll
Mobland.
talk about that on Friday.
Oh,
Maeve, yeah. So 6 days later, he robbed another bank. This time, he was photographed by a security camera, but the FBI agents investigating didn't recognize the bearded
But-
man with the low baseball cap.
I'm telling you
Isn't
guys,
that
it
Jim
looks.
Namecheck?
It looks no, man. It looks like Cristobal. Yeah, but Cristobal didn't have a beard. You're right, man. Moving on.
So he started running with accomplices, including the Hill brothers, and they proceeded to rob several more banks in Washington, Idaho, and Montana that summer. He told the Hill brothers they should enroll in the army, steal military secrets with his
fuck.
help,
What?
and then sell them
What?
to the Soviets.
Dude, this guy does not come up with new ideas, does he?
It worked for
But
him. I mean,
but
Hey, I
because
learned a lot
the-
of lessons from when I did it, man. I'll make sure you guys do it right.
but the
Don't
Hill
hire
brothers
Dalton.
declined. The Hill brothers were apparently patriotic. They declined.
Or they're like, "Oh, you think we should do the thing that got you sent to prison?"
yeah.
So thousands of tips and alleged sightings of Chris poured into law enforcement, but none were accurate. Investigators spent millions of dollars chasing rumors that he was in South Africa, Costa Rica, Australia, and other countries, eventually thinking he was dead in the forest around Lompoc prison.
I mean, he's just there in Idaho with fucking
The
growing
government will
weed.
do anything rather than go to Idaho.
No, man.
What's
there's no way
great
he's in
is the
Idaho.
government had a friggin' picture of him robbing a bank, and we're just like, nah, that doesn't look.
Dude, that's
You know-
flyover country. We can't go there.
It's like what Brahma's friend 70 says, diddly 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 potato.
He's not my friend.
And he finishes out at the bottom.
So, on October
I'm sorry to think you're
23rd
doing it on purpose. Like you wanted
No,
me
I
there.
told.
It felt intentional.
So on October 23rd, 9 months after
You're
his
such a
escape,
Cristobal.
Chris got drunk at
When
a
you
bar
could be a Namachek.
in Montana, and he
Just
actually
feel like a hot
proceeded to
potato.
call the author of the Falcon and the Snowman, Robert Lindsay.
Oh, good.
Hey,
Hey, man,
They
I
talk-
got a couple of problems with the way you depicted me in your book. Turn to page 12.
So they talked for a while, and Chris actually told Lindsay that he had never been happier, but wouldn't say where he was. I mean, that's shocking that an escaped con would not give his exact location.
I've never been happier. You sound drunk and like are you crying? Been happier. I don't miss any of it.
I just want some Coke.
I'm not
He
crying.
denied rumors that the
I miss
CIA
Dalton.
or KGB had helped him escape. So the call proved he was alive, but law enforcement had no clue where he was.
No, they
mean-
didn't help me escape. I climbed that 10-foot fence on my own.
Who
Even
provided
the
you with
bird
a
didn't
dummy?
help me.
Yeah, but who provided you with a dummy? No further questions?
Let's
Pip,
see.
they're on to you.
In December, Chris and the Hill
Listen,
brothers.
I owed him that much. He gave me those jihadi snacks.
So in December, Chris and the Hill brothers moved to Olympic Peninsula in Washington. and Chris started going by a new alias, Sean Hennessy.
Sean Hennessy. Now they'll think I'm black.
I thought you mean O'Shaughnessy.
No, it's Hennessy.
O'Shaughnessy.
He's gone full Finian.
Sean Colt 45 Hennessy.
I was going Key and Peele.
Oh yeah. So on
Yep.
December 23rd, he called his cousin to wish her a Merry Christmas
My God.
and asked her to tell his parents he loved them. The call was untraceable at the time.
What? Why? Oh, they were using
Because-
Sprint.
Probably.
Because
Yeah.
Cristobal is a super hacker.
He's a burner.
Don't even
phone.
bother trying to trace this shit. Lines
you-
untraceable. I made sure of that.
He was using the old Nextel walkie-talkie
No,
system.
he's like, you can't trace it. I'm on my jitterbug.
It has a bigger screen, so
Yeah.
I can see.
So by spring 1981, Chris planned to fly a helicopter into the yard at Lompoc prison and break Dalton out, saying
No.
Dalton's not any more innocent than I am, but that doesn't change the fact that he's in prison because of something I started.
But
That's a
okay,
wolf,
can I
Piper.
ask? Does he
This
know how to
dude
fly a
finds-
helicopter?
Probably
It's basically
not.
like a bird, you know.
But this
Like I
dude
know
finds
falcons,
the weirdest things to be moralistic about, doesn't he?
right? It's like he is searching for something to stand for. You know what I mean? And believe in. Was all these other normal things? No, that's not my thing.
Well,
Let me think.
Was he more high than usual, or was he sober? When
I don't
we
even
came
think
to
he
these
ever did
conclusions?
drugs, right? Get some marijuana.
Yeah,
And cocaine.
he
okay,
did
well.
some cocaine.
I thought he got
So-
into the heroin for a while too.
No,
You know-
Dalton.
Yeah.
It was just reference cocaine.
Okay.
It does sound a little bit like the Dewey Cox story. No, Dewey, you don't want any of this. This is bad for you.
Oh
Okay.
wait, that's why he's moralizing. He just wants Dalton out so that he can get more cocaine.
Maybe he's just a true bro. I know I would fly a helicopter into a federal prison to get in you guys out.
I
You
wouldn't
wouldn't
fly a
stop a wasp
helicopter into
from
a
stinging me in
federal
the
prison
neck.
to get you out. I would do something smart to break you out.
Like hire a lawyer, build you a defense in the legal system.
Not like a one-way ticket back in. Hey,
You know what? Some bros they'll start a GoFundMe, but true bros they fly helicopters into the prison to break you out.
I parked it
Well,
on the
once all your
lawn.
true bros are in there with you, you give me a call and I'll do something better.
I'll come in with a legion of falcons. All right, go on, Chad.
All right. So Chris's plan was that after breaking out, they would take a boat to Alaska and then Russia. So
What?
Chris kept robbing banks every few weeks to pay for helicopter flight lessons.
Aren't they kind of on
I'm-
the outs with Russia after everything that's gone down?
I mean,
I'm sorry. I'm just not good with where we left that last one. I don't think it would be a legion of falcons. They're flying animals. I think it would be a squadron.
wait.
yeah, he's been fixated on that.
I mean, you have a point.
Yeah, he does. Fucking correcting my goddamn terminology for fucking falcons. Committing a goddamn prison break.
So in July of that same year, Kate Mills had become Dalton's new lawyer. She said Dalton was clinging to Chris as the embodiment of his earthly woes.
Is there anyone that's not just a pretentious fucking? I mean,
So
go on.
So basically, Chris is like, I'm going to take helicopter lessons to break him out. And Dalton's like, this guy is the epitome of why I'm here.
There is nothing he could ever do that would make me forgive him.
And then he totally redeems himself.
Okay, so at the risk of losing my spot, I looked it up, and according to this, a group of falcons is called a cast, a cauldron, or a kettle.
Yes, but we were using military terminology. Squadron.
No,
would
Slender,
be
you
flying.
keep your spot for correcting that motherfucker down there.
All right.
And also, any bets he pulled that thing with the gigantic poster boards, where he flies in with the helicopter and he just starts revealing one poster board after another. Dalton,
No.
this is how I truly feel about you.
He Love Actually's him from the
I
helicopter.
can't live without you. Please take the ladder. Yes, you may be shot by a high-powered rifle on your way out, but if you can get to the top of the ladder, we're scot-free.
Or falcony free.
I'm just a falconer.
Careful, Punk. I'm just giving before you go, Punk. I'm just letting you know. Careful.
Yeah. That's all I said.
I didn't hear what you said though, but go ahead.
I said I'm just a falconer standing in front of a bro.
Oh, I like that one.
Yeah. I'm learning.
So later in the month after he came up with the plan, Chris drove to Lompoc to scout his breakout plan and spotted Dalton through the fence, recognizing his two-handed tennis swing.
What? Oh, there it is, Dalton. Oh, the way he swings that tennis racket.
That's the backhand I've been missing.
Just
Dude,
like when we played.
I'm picturing like the anime meet cute where it's like the slow motion of Dalton and then it gives you the freeze frame of him with little sweat droplets flying off the forehead.
I don't want to wait for our lives to be over.
I'm also picturing some guy with his pants pulled halfway down being a bitch in prison as the ball girl.
All right.
Don't
A
forget
few.
the nuggets.
That reminds me of when we used to play doubles with Boris and Igor.
So
We took turns pissing in the bitch's ocular cavities.
Oh no. No.
wow.
Whoa. Whoa. Old channel,
Chad, move
Brahma.
on quick.
We're on the
Move
new
on,
channel
Chad.
now.
Move
So
on
I
quick.
murdered an axe murder?
All right.
You guys never
So
saw
a few
Zoe
days
Murder
later
and
at
Axe Murder?
Lompoc,
It's been a long time.
I love
a few
Vicky.
days
He
later.
gives the best tours.
All right, a few days later, a Lompoc record reporter named Guy Blake called Kate, saying he had information that could help Dalton. They met in a parking lot in Santa Barbara. Blake was acting strange and wearing a fake mustache.
No.
As he said,
Is it Pip? Is it Pip?
I'll ask you to pass something to him. Headlights of a police cruiser flashed by, and by the time the cop got out to tell them the parking lot was closed, Blake had vanished.
Smoke bomb.
Smoke bomb. The next
Wait,
day,
which one is
Kate-
Blake now?
Blake is a reporter for the Lompoc Record, which is a local newspaper.
Okay.
And definitely not Pip wearing a mustache.
But this is where it gets interesting. The next day, Kate called the Lompoc Record and found out they had no reporter named Guy Blake.
It was Pip.
No way.
Every fucking spy movie is based on this story.
I think so.
I'm sorry, Cristobal. They made me do it.
On July 31st, one of the Hill brothers met with a U.S. Marshal and won a $250,000 reward for Chris, and said Chris was living on the Olympic Peninsula. So
Okay.
he wanted the reward to turn
Yeah.
in his pro. Agents went to a store in Port Angeles, Washington, where the Hill brothers said Chris bought paint and found 2 receipts with Chris' handwriting. The first evidence.
Hang on. They
Tying him
could
to
recognize his handwriting, but not him with a beard.
That's what I was about to say.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Well, they weren't looking for him up there. They were looking for him in South Africa.
Well, they had the picture of him with the beard. It's not like, go on.
You know, yeah.
All right, so let's see where the Hill brothers.
The
All
Hill
in
brothers got
August.
Sherman.
Yeah, so in August, Chris returned to Washington to resume helicopter lessons. Because remember, his grand plan is just fly a friggin'
He's
helicopter.
really holding tight to that helicopter plan, huh?
He has to have something to believe in.
It's not
Let's-
the government.
Let's
I'm
not
beginning
forget
to
that
agree
this.
with you, Mad. He really can't help himself.
Yeah, this prison is protected by a 10-foot chain link fence. He has seen Dalton multiple times on the other side of this fence. He could have just rammed the freaking fence with his car at any given time and had Dalton get in the front seat.
No way,
Dude,
man.
make yourself a killdozer or something.
No, after you, man, they raised it by 2 feet. It's 12 feet now.
Okay, I think the car still takes care of it.
That seems risky.
Or He's looking at the paint cans at the fucking shop, and he's like, bolt cutters. I have a new plan.
Wait, what's the new plan?
Just cut the chain link.
Oh, because that was so I was
Yeah.
picturing like you would paint it to look like this is gonna be crazy, like talons. So they would
So
just
it looks like Pips is ripping up the fence.
yeah, like what is this Falcon doing? Oh, never mind. He brought a ladder. He must be legit.
Guard Tower 2 check in. Yeah, it looks like we've got a supernatural Falcon ripping through the fence. Not
He
sure
has a
what's
hard
going
hat
on
on?
here.
I thought the Mothman was from West Virginia.
Oh man. All right, go on. Sorry,
All right.
but that is really what I pictured in my head when you said it. But you would have that too.
All right. So
I'm just saying a bolt cutter seems like a more reasonable plan than I'm gonna fly a helicopter into the fucking
right,
prison.
That just
Yeah.
proves that Mag never goes to the easiest solution either. He's like, how can I make this crazy? Bolt cutters?
Look,
What
we
can
all
we
have
do
a-
with those?
We all have a little bit of Cristobal in us, whether we want to admit it or not.
I've
Some
got
of
some
us
Jim
have a
name
little
check.
more than others.
Yeah. So in
It's on
August,
a
Chris
spectrum.
returned to Washington to resume helicopter lessons. And on August 21st, 1981, 19 months after his initial escape, Chris was eating a burger in his car outside a diner when U.S. Marshals
get
spotted him. They ordered him to drop the hamburger.
They didn't know.
What they didn't know was then he ran to his helicopter and flew away.
It's a single. It's a single. I swear, it's not a double. Don't
Damn it.
shoot me.
He was only 19 days from me being born.
By the way, I kind of get that whole vibe of eating in your car outside of a place because you don't want to eat in there alone. So you're like, but so I'm just gonna eat in my car.
That's a
listen-
vibe. I do that
Yeah, I
all
get
the
it.
time.
Yeah, like you listen to AM radio as you're eating.
Yeah.
I usually just eat in my car because I assume it's cleaner than the fast food restaurant from which I ordered.
I just want
Yeah.
to hear Matt Walsh's latest, greatest take. And eat my food.
Yeah, because
In
he's always
peace.
got such good takes, especially when he's talking about pop culture and video games and shit.
I mean, yeah, I agree with him more on that than I do the social. Yo, we go on. We don't have time for that.
All right.
I'm starving. Let's go.
When the U.S. Marshal who handcuffed him called him by his real name, Chris said, "It's been a long time since anyone called me that." This
No!
motherfucker pulled the Star Wars line.
This is the epitome.
Yeah, because it came
When I
out
was a young boy, my father took
He took me to the city
oh, real
to
quick though.
see the marching band.
New Hope came out 2 years before this, and he loved that fucking movie. It's like, yeah, man, it's like me fighting the Empire. And
Except
basically
that
Skywalker.
he kept trying
was
to
the
help the
first
Soviet
emo
Empire.
So, upon his rearrest, he was sent to a federal penitentiary in Kansas and placed in solitary confinement. 3 years were added to his sentence, and 25 were added for the 17 bank robberies he had committed. He would be eligible for parole after 20 years in exchange for their cooperation. The Hill brothers were not prosecuted for the bank robberies and received only $15,000 in reward.
Man, Chris is right about you guys. Fuck the government. Fuck you.
I mean, it's 1981. He got sent to the federal penitentiary. It's probably
Nope.
2 chain link fence keeping him in now.
That's why they have him in solitary confinement. Like, can't let him out in the open, man. Falcons. But the Hill brothers, he just has a way with them, man. That and ferrets. Go on. It was a
The Hill
Beastmaster
brothers made it
reference.
out pretty good. They got to keep
Yeah.
all the stuff that they robbed, got $15,000 for turning
Oh,
him
you
in
know what?
instead of the full amount.
Yeah, I
and did no
forgot about
time.
they didn't have to give back the money to the banks, but they're insured.
FDIC.
They
That's what it's
repaid
all
their
about.
debt to society.
And then Iron Maiden wrote a song about them.
So in January 1985, The Falcon and the Snowman was released in theaters, with Chris played by Timothy Hutton and Dalton being played by Sean Penn.
I totally see that casting because Sean Penn is deranged and unhinged.
Especially younger Sean Penn.
And
Did
dumb
he walk
as
it
a
now?
freaking rock.
Did he pull a Gary Oldman and walk around on his knees to be more accurate to Dalton's height?
Likely. Well, I don't think Sean Penn's much taller than Dalton.
By the way, if you haven't
All
seen
right.
Tiptoes,
You have specifically said it's hilarious for like 5 minutes, but the movie sucks.
that is true. I should have clarified.
All right. So 3 months after the movie release, Chris testified before the U.S. Senate during hearings about the government security clearance system. Makes sense.
Yeah, man, you really need to tighten this up. Like they're hiring janitors to be.
Yeah, druggy janitors.
They never
Yet
even
we
asked
still
me about
have the
Muhammad.
Vindmans.
Yes. So he gave 8 recommendations for preventing a spying situation like his own.
What was it? Don't hire the janitors. Maybe
Wait,
better background
If somebody's on
checks.
cocaine, don't hire them.
Oh,
If
but
their
drug
best friend
testing.
is a cocaine dealer and has a bird, don't hire them.
yeah.
If I walk into a room and you keep seeing light flashing under the door, maybe investigate that. I mean, I walked in here with a camera every fucking day and nobody stopped me.
I think my biggest recommendation is a basket. You put it outside of the room and you make people put everything in their pockets in the basket.
When I started calling my coworkers comrade, maybe you should have taken notice.
My God, if you didn't have that felony, I would vote for you to run for president. This is some genius. You can fix the whole country. Just trying to make it.
Yeah.
I
So
mean, you can run
he
with
did end up
34 felonies.
So he did end up giving 8 recommendations for preventing a spying situation
Only
like his
8?
own.
Hmm.
So
Do we get to hear these recommendations?
No, we don't have them. So all right.
Oh, somebody.
I feel like I
After
covered most of them.
After ending his testimony saying, I only wish senators that before me before more Americans take that irreversible step, that they know what I know now, that they are just bringing down upon themselves heartache more heavy than any mountain.
Before you betray your country, think about it for half a second.
Just think about it.
Yeah, that's what normal people already do, bro.
Dude, when he said that, was he wearing like black hair dye, black
they all clapped.
eyeshadow, black lipstick, black nail polish?
Yeah, it's the things you think about before you do all the drugs.
And then he turns around and
He's the original emo.
I said that like an hour ago.
No, I'm agreeing with you.
Okay, good.
do you think he turned around and he saw Pips with a trench coat and a fedora walking out the door? He's like, I've lost everything now.
I think he started screaming infidelities is what he did.
All right, keep going. Hey, I'm starving.
All right. In 1988, he was finally moved out of solitary confinement after 7
Jesus.
years and sent to a prison in Minnesota, where he got a degree in history while attending.
Did the KGB come?
in prison?
Okay, now that you got that part done, let's move on.
No, the U.S. government paid for it this time through the prison systems. All right, on July 22nd, 1997, with the help of Kate Mills, who remember started as Dalton's attorney.
Yeah.
And is now also assisting them. So Dalton was now released from Lompoc on parole after 20 years. He was 45 years old and went on to briefly become Sean Penn's personal assistant.
No. Because of the cocaine. Sean Penn was like, you still know how to get cocaine? Yeah, I got you. I can make it in toilets now. What?
What, then you can make cocaine in toilets? I don't know if it quite works that way.
Well, that's why he was briefly the assistant.
I thought that was the sangria.
Holy shit, this dude's still alive?
Stop. What is the rule? We're not supposed to be Googling shit.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we were almost. I was like, I hope this guy dies soon because I'm getting really
Bottom row.
tired.
Bottom row.
All right.
He broke all the rules of our show.
I'm
you know,
one
Brahma,
spot.
you should get down a spot too for snitching.
Yeah, snitches get fucking bottom. You know what? That's right.
How is this snitching? He literally just said it, and then Matt called him out on it.
But you reveled in it. You were
You
were like,
instigated. You
teacher, look
Damn
what
straight I
Slender
reveled
did.
in it.
I'm the victim here, Brahma.
okay? Like, let's
Okay,
let's,
Carmelo.
Listen, you don't. You know what
I
I mean? Like,
am-
don't
I
poke the
don't know.
bear. Like,
Hold on. I don't know that Punk deserves to be like.
I know
second.
that's what's bothering me right now, but I can't. I don't have any
Shut up, you
legitimate
guys are-
reason.
You're fucking up my plan, Chad.
Okay. All right. So you'll be happy to know that Kate then now focused on freeing Chris. And
Nice.
as she was doing that, they became close, developing a romantic relationship.
Fuck me.
Which Dalton was very jealous of.
God dang it.
Because remember now, he doesn't have the coke to get the girls. So.
But he's hanging out with Sean Penn.
This is a movie.
Yeah, so was Madonna, though.
Oh.
All right, so in 2000, Dalton convinced Kate to open a restaurant with him in
What?
San Francisco. But when she realized a funder was a drug dealer, she backed out because Dalton apparently couldn't stop.
I know where to get investment money. A cartel.
So after backing out, Dalton wrote her a scathing note calling her a complete bitch, and she
Nice.
never saw him again. There is no
I mean,
publicly
that's how
available
most breakups
information
go, though, right?
about Dalton's whereabouts after the year 2000.
I'm just gonna be a ghost, man.
So on September 16th, 2002, Chris was released from prison on parole in Oregon. He was 49 years old, and later that day, he proposed to Kate, saying,
God
I've
dang it.
loved you ever since I saw you in the beach parking lot,
I
admitting
knew it.
he had been Guy Blake, the reporter, all along.
Oh.
In
Was-
October,
Was she just
they-
like, yeah, I know.
she was like, dude, I'm I'm a lawyer. I'm not Lois goddamn Lane.
Wait,
He's
this is
Supermander.
this is what year and he's what age?
2002 at 49 years old.
I thought he was older.
We can keep going. We can do.
Anyway.
That's something that
so
people
they-
need to hit
yeah.
us in the mailbag for corrections and
So they married and settled in Oregon, and Chris promptly got a job as a manager at an airport. I don't know that we should be trusting him around sensitive areas.
Well, this
He's
was
in charge
before
of
we
the
got-
TSA now.
I was going to say, actually, no, this was after the airports got more strict.
yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
this is-
2002.
This is yeah. So in a 2013 interview,
Fuck.
Chris said that while he regretted spying, he felt worse about the bank robberies.
What?
So Dalton and Chris had not spoken since January 20th, 1980, the day before Chris escaped from prison. On May 15th, 2019, an anonymous Wikipedia user made 7 edits to Chris's article. The only edits this user has ever made on Wikipedia. The first 2 edits added that Chris was now estranged from Kate. And then the editor added he's also on good terms with his father and 8 siblings and was with his mother until her death in 2017. The editor did remove all mentions of Chris's current whereabouts, which had stated he lives in Oregon. And finally, the editor changed the quote, he had resumed his participation in falconry to he had resumed his participation in falconry to he has resumed his participation in falconry.
Grammar police.
So he couldn't he's like, I need to make sure people know that it's present tense with me and Falcons.
Yeah.
And that concludes this story, this crazy story from history.
What happened to Pip?
He has resumed his falconry.
What's that? Yeah. Oh, you think him and Pip got back together too?
What's
I
the
think
how
Pip went to
I
live with a
don't
family
know.
of hawks.
I
How
want to
long
see
does
a
a falcon
spin-off where
live?
we get to see Pip's story.
About 40
Oh.
years.
I want the entire thing to be told through the POV of Pips.
Yeah. Punkwaddle, you should get to work on that. You know people in the bird community, right?
Birds live like 30, 40 years, Chad.
And it
No,
has this-
I just looked up falcons live in captivity at most around 25, in nature about 10 on the tops.
Dude, Pip was never in captivity.
not in his heart.
He was a free bird, yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
what the fuck, dude? We're at the goal line.
Yeah.
Yeah, And
By
I
the way,
sang a song as bad as
speaking of-
Slender
You
did.
didn't put any
Screw you,
passion
you
into
dumb
it.
son of a bitch.
Wait, when did Imp
Speaking of being at the goal line, when is Punk Waddle going to fumble this?
I was about to say he's been quiet as a motherfucker
end
since
it,
he's made it
end
to the.
Let him have this.
All right. So real quick, last thoughts because I am hungry. That was a great story, by the way.
It was.
That's just crazy.
That is definitely one of the more cuckoo banana ones we've talked about outside of the dolphin one.
Honestly,
I just
it's
love
up
the
there.
absolute like brass balls on him to tell the FBI, I have a lot of problems with America right now.
To quote the Water Boy, which brings me to my next point. Don't smoke crack.
Yeah.
Boy.
Oh man, I mean, but man, when the
No,
luck
hold on.
shifted
Go ahead,
for
Punk.
Dalton,
Go ahead, Punk.
I was just gonna say I kind of want to watch the movie, but I don't think it's gonna be as fun as this retelling.
I had the same question. Has anybody? Well, Chad, you're be the only one. Have you seen the Sean Penn movie?
I feel like I saw it a long time ago, and I just didn't. It didn't stick with me.
I'm pretty sure it's on a Plex server somewhere.
It will be available soon.
I think we should do a maybe we should do a I don't
Follow
know.
up.
It may not be good enough for
Oh, we
the-
could make
what the
Sean
flick.
make fun of Sean Penn all night. That's easy.
Well, we don't do those live. Those are edited.
Yeah, I know that I was like, I don't know. Maybe I'll watch the trailer. We'll see. All right. Remember everybody, if you have any complaints, corrections, if Brahma, Imp, Slender, Chad, or Punk Waddle got something wrong and you want to correct them, you can email us at
We all know who got things wrong.
madcheesemo@gmail.com.
Yeah.
It's my channel. I can't get things wrong. Or call us at
Legion versus
726
Squadron.
610-5357. And all right, anything else? Friday night
no,
at Sin and
the-
Art. Sunday they got the political thing. Sin and Arcade during the week at different times. And then Punk does those videos that I try to remember to like on Twitter, but I've never seen one. But they look cool.
That's cool.
The ones where he
we
tells
ended-
us how bad.
Machiavelli production.
This is now Mr. Kansas Law Dog. Law don't go around here. Savvy? Yeah. Yeah, that's real good, Law Dog, because law just don't go around here.
They keep on calling me, want me to put it down. Oh, baby, run to me, don't go from smile to frown. Hey, law dog, law don't go around here. And I say, hey, law doggy, law don't go around here. You're no daisy at all. And I say, hey, law doggy, law don't go around here. You're no daisy at all.
I want you to know it's over.